Always get started.
Sorry, okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. This is our last day. Yeah. So I intentionally left that in for some time so that you can look at it. It's important, and and I hope you have recognized what it is. When I was doing my first degree in the university, and I was doing this course, English composition. And I remember the teacher wanted us to write an essay, and he gave us the topic of the essay. The topic was, what is life? Goodness me. My head was full when I saw that. What are you going to write? What does it really mean? What is life? I've not forgotten it. I've not forgotten it. Almost more than 20 years ago. It's still in my head. It was from that essay I changed my way of relating with people when I ask them or when I meet them. I ask them the question, how is life? How is life? That's what I ask people, how is life? I remember one of my colleagues some time ago, perhaps he was really pissed off with this question every time. And then one day he called me and said, Bright, why do you ask that? What do you want me to answer really? How is life? Because I don't know what you want me to answer. I laughed. So I told him that question is not just something I say. I ask that question because I've come to realize that it is important not just to just ask people, how are you? When I ask you how is life, I'm thinking about your whole well-being. How are you doing in reality, in your work, in your health, in other aspects of your life? So it's quite deep. And not long ago, I came across this quote I put on the screen. Perhaps I put it again, so those who just joined now, so that those who just joined now can see it. If you want to copy something, you can copy. If you want to take a picture, I came across this. I said, "Wow, this is powerful." I printed it and I put it in my room. And when I end my courses, usually the last day I put this forward. We have come through a journey of 1 week. Relationships are established, collaborations are established, knowledge is gained. Some things have not been perfect. Some of your expectations have not been met. Well, we'll talk about that in the afternoon to see how you have come through. I said it when we started. Yeah, those who mentioned expectations, those who didn't mention, on Friday, we'll see whether the expectations have been met. So when I came across this, I aligned with it, I picked it up. Although eventually it said that it was anonymous source. I wanted to see how I can relate with that person. Who pieced this down? Life is onion. Peel it one layer at a time. Life is a challenge. Meet it. Life is a gift. Accept it. Life is an adventure. Dare it. Life is sorrow. Overcome it. Life is a tragedy. Face it. Life is a duty. Perform it. Life is a game. Play it. Life is a mystery. Unfold it. Life is a song. Sing it. Life is opportunity. Take it. Life is a journey. Complete it. Life is a promise. Fulfill it. Life is beauty. Praise it. Life is a struggle. Fight it. Life is a goal. Achieve it. Life is puzzle. Solve it. Life is scientific writing. Overcome it. Wow. So this is what it is. Don't live life halfway. You have to go to the end. You have to achieve your purpose of being in this planet we are. You have to achieve it. If it means your scientific writing, achieve it. If it means other aspects, get it. But one thing here I see from here is that there are different experiences we get in life. Sometimes they are happy ones. Sometimes they are not happy ones. Sometimes they can be even tragedy. Sometimes they can be adventure. So what is your problem? To sit down and you complain all day. Move on, move on, move on, move on. That is the experiences we get once that baby cries coming from the mother's womb is out here. We say, welcome to the world. And that is all these things you see here. So once you finish today, note that sometimes it's a bed of roses, sometimes it's always a challenge. And what we are looking at this week, your scientific writing, is something you can improve, you can improve, you can improve, you continue to improve. I continue to improve, I see it. All right. Okay, so I hope now I can take this off. If you just come now, you can take a picture or all right. Let's see. Yeah, evaluation form. Some of you have filled it, not everyone, not everyone. So please, if you have not done justice to that, we will highly, highly appreciate it if you can do it before the end of today. That will be helpful when the image of what we have done is still fresh in your head. Some of you say that they will never forget it. Anyway, you may forget some aspect, but please help us to fill the form today. That will be quite helpful. And then I will contact those who I will ask for the video safety evaluation. I will contact you this morning as I send you to your group. So I would like you to do it before the end of next week, Friday. That is the Christmas Eve. Earlier, better, but before the end. So please, and one thing is that this is something that is public. It's something that is public. People will see you. So if you can, I know it's not easy, but if you can use a camera that a phone that the camera is clearer, please use that. Use that, okay? So that people, when they see you, they say, oh, this is nice. This person is good. Is expressing, you know. So, and the other thing is this. One of the things I've noticed that sometimes people say our names wrongly. ASFI. It is African Science Frontiers Initiative. So you get it right when you're putting it in the video, okay? No, just housekeeping. But anyway, when you send it, we'll also scrutinize it, and we make selections even at that level so that we have a good output there. So please, if you think you are not able to do it when you receive my email, just let me know. It's not a problem at all. It doesn't affect anything. All right. Okay. So this is the way we are going to walk through today. I will send you out now, and then you are going to come back after lunch, 11:30 GMT, and we can start the deal of the day. I don't know if anyone has anything to say now, questions or so, before I send you out. Observations? Yeah, I see Patricia there.
Yes, thank you, Professor Bright, for all that you have done. I think we need a word of encouragement in group 4.
You do, eh?
Yes, we do.
I will come there and I will bring this what is life to you. You need preaching this morning? Don't worry, I will come there. I will come and see you.
Thank you.
All right, any other group needs word of encouragement? Yeah, I have Leah.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, Leah.
Good morning, Prof. For us, it is not that we need a word of encouragement. Only I need a clarification. Do we have to send you the Word document today, or we are sending it while we are presenting? So this is a clarification I need.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you may not be ready with the Word document today. Is that what you're saying?
No, we have it. By the time we can be ready.
Okay, if well, I can. This is not it's not a military zone. I can give all the groups 1 week extra to give me the Word document. Is that okay? So that today we have the presentation. If you're ready with it today, send it to me. If you're not ready, you have up to 24th of December to send the Word document. That Word document, if you have extra 1 week, you need to fine tune it because it's going to be shared among all the people who have participated in this course, and they can benefit from it as well. So please, you can have up to 1 week more to send it to me, all the groups. Is that okay for you, Leah?
Thank you.
Great.
Yes, it is.
I know that is what you're asking, even though you didn't mention it, Leah. All right, Nuha, you have your hand up.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you are giving us 1 week for the Word document. Is it for
Yes.
publishing or just we are going to put it in Google Drive?
Yeah, the Google Drive. You want to publish it? No, I'm not publishing it anywhere. Not publishing. If it's publishing, you will do that if you think you want to publish it. But those are public data, so there are things people know. It's not a new thing.
Okay, thank you.
Just in the Google Drive, and everybody can have access to that.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Okay, let's go to the groups now. Those who don't have their numbers on their names, please do so.
Yes.
Okay. It seems I muted myself while talking to you. Sorry about that. So now we want to kick off and welcome back everyone. So we are starting with group 1. Each group has 10 minutes to present, and then we will discuss a bit and move on. So please, group 1.
Hello.
Hello. Group 1. Please mute yourself so that we don't have disturbances. Mute yourself. So he's presenting for group 1.
Joy is doing the presentation for group 1. I'm running the slides. Joy, proceed.
Yeah.
Can you put
Good
it on
afternoon,
presentation
everyone.
mode, please?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, group 1, we are working on evaluation of mortality from road traffic injury across the world regions between 2000 and 2019. So the group member, we are 8. Nico, next slide, please.
Perhaps it's easier to put it in a presentation mode. So if you just click that cup down there on the right side so that we can have it in presentation mode.
Nicola, next, please.
Nicholas, we're behind, please.
It's already on introduction.
No, it's not moving then. So maybe somebody else
Not
can show
moving.
it. So
Click the.
does anyone else have your presentation?
So let him click the
Can
slide.
can you stop sharing? Yeah, somebody can share because you have problems from your end.
Next
Nicholas,
slide,
it's not working.
Nicholas.
It's not working.
Let me share.
Joey, don't you have the presentation by your side? Group 1, you have already lost 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
I've shared the file because on my end, I don't know what is happening. On my side, it's showing the next slide.
You shared where?
You can see. I've shared in the group,
On the chat.
in the chat.
Nicola, you haven't.
It's
on
there,
the
exactly.
No, it's on the on the chat. In the chat, you can see it there.
I suggest that all the group members should, all the groups should send their presentations to you so that in case of any challenge, you are able to control.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah.
So can I suggest we step down group 1, let us sort out so that we can come after group 2.
Yeah, we can take group 2 if group 3 is ready, but group 1 is already losing their time. Group 2, are you ready? We can take that.
So that we don't lose the time, sir.
Yeah, group 2, if you're ready, let's go. Is group 2 ready?
Yes, we are ready. Please, members of group 2, the final presentation is in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. All right, one is already. Please, Nkuti, you can share. Thank you. Okay, please. Hello? Is anyone seeing my screen, please?
Yeah, but it's
Yes,
it's not on presentation mode. Eh? You can check whether it's moving.
Yeah, it's moving on my side.
It's not moving here. Nicholas, can you send the group 1 presenter to my email, and the group 2 you can do the same thing. All groups can send to my email so that I can help you upload it from here.
That's
Okay,
right.
sir. Maybe Bro Luca can share for us for group 2.
Look, are you able to do that?
Okay, let me share that.
I'm making another attempt, please. Is anyone seeing my screen?
They were seeing
Yes,
the first
move
page,
it.
but it's not on presentation mode.
Let me share. I have it now.
Is it there now?
It's not on presentation. It's not on slideshow.
Okay.
Yeah, ma, close it. Let me share it now. I have it.
All right. Thank you.
Prof, I've sent group 1 on your email.
Okay.
Is everyone seeing now?
Yeah, I can see it. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm presenting on behalf of the team. So it's a group. It's a presentation on this course, Art of Scientific Writing and Publishing. Next slide, please. Our topic is comparative study on the impact of imports of goods and services on gross domestic products in Africa and other regions of the world. Next. Next slide. Hello, so go to next slide.
I'm trying to move it. It's not coming.
Sorry, who is moving the slide? It's not Dr. Bright. I thought you had sent it to him. Okay.
So please go back one step. Yeah. Abstracts. International trade is a key to the rise of the country's economy. Imports, unlike exports, lead to the exit of local currency and weaken the trade balance, thus weakening economic growth. Using secondary data, this study evaluated the trend of importation of goods and services in African countries and compared it with other world regions. The results show that although Africa as a continent has a high percentage GDP, second to only Europe and the Baltics, on the average, more African countries have low percent GDP. It is encouraged that policies that encourage, less importation and more exportation be adopted to increase the gross domestic product for the continent. Next slide.
Okay.
Okay, introduction. Gross domestic product, GDP, is the total market value of all goods and services produced in an economy in a given year. It's a widely reported economic data, and when analyzed, it's a useful measure of the health of the economy. There's limited information on the trend of importation among African countries in relation to other world regions from the beginning of the 20th millennium up to date. The study tested the assumption that Africa imports more than other countries and consequently has a low GDP. Next. Prof. I don't know, Sunkutu, you having problem?
Yes, I think my laptop gets stiff sometimes.
Okay, no problem. The study aims to compare, introduction content, the study aims to compare and contrast the trends in imports of goods and services as a percentage of GDP across the world regions in the past decade, 2 decades. The African continent GDP will be evaluated and compared to the other world regions, as well as verify the importation trend among African countries. The knowledge will be relevant for policymakers to take decisions and adopt policies that are geared towards encouraging importation, thereby increasing the national GDP. Methodology. The data used in this research is from 2000 to 2020 and was retrieved from the World Bank database. Analysis of variance was used for statistical analysis, and the result presented as mean plus or minus standard deviation. Significance was accepted at probability level of 0.05, while tables and charts were used to present the results. The first figure here is percentage of GDP of world regions. From the figure, we can see that Central Europe and the Baltics has the highest GDP, followed by the African region. And the Arab world, the least is North America with an average GDP of 17%. This is an ANOVA table for the world region data or analysis. There was statistical significance in percentage of GDP among the world regions. The difference between the largest mean and the smallest mean was estimated to be 36. Now, this is a comparison of percentage of GDP in Africa and other world regions using the Y value. Central Europe and Baltics import less goods and services than Africa. Latin America and the Caribbean, South Asia and North America depend heavily from these results on imports of goods and services compared to Africa. Now, this table 2, African countries importing less. So from this table, we can see that Djibouti, marked on red, is the least importer of goods and services among African countries and has the highest percent GDP of 142.99, followed by Liberia, Somalia, Lesotho, Seychelles, and Cape Verde. Now, this table of African countries importing more, and by implication, having a less GDP percentage. So Nigeria has the lowest percentage GDP of 15.63, and highest importation rate, followed closely by Sudan and Tanzania. Table 5, ANOVA for African countries. Again, comparison of the percentage of GDP in this result shows statistical significance with a p-value of less than 0.01, which is below our alpha value of 0.05. Next slide. Discussion. The focus of this paper is on imports of goods and services as percentage of GDP across the world regions between 2000 and 2020. Results of this study shows that there is significant difference in percentage of GDP among African countries, and countries importing more have less GDP and vice versa. The number of African countries importing more is higher than the ones that import less, which automatically weakens the GDP with respect to the continent. This high rate of importation is linked to lack of industrialization to turn raw materials into finished goods. Next. The low mean GDP recorded for Nigeria contradicts the findings of Honor et al. 2015, who reported an upward trend in Nigeria's GDP from 1960 to 2012 as an indicator of economic growth. This variation can be attributed to different sources and duration of secondary data, as well as the controversy that import of goods and services does not have any impact on GDP. Other factors that like expenditures and then capital and recurrent expenditures also affect GDP, not just importation of goods and services. The limitations of this study include the grouping of some African countries with other regions. There was also paucity of data for some African countries to explain their exclusion from the analysis. However, it is imperative for African countries and other regions of the world to maximize opportunities in their areas of comparative advantage, sorry about that, to improve their GDP. These are the references. We acknowledge Professor Bright, Dr. Manso, the ASFI team, and the World Bank for the opportunity and the data we use respectively. And this, the next slide, final slide is useful links for the audience. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks very much, Group 1. No, Group 2, sorry. I think you were within time of your presentation. Yeah, time for comments from members of the class. Any comment, observation from what they have presented?
Please, I have a question. Can you take us to the topic? So,
yeah, the topic, please.
okay, comparative study on the impact of import and services on GDP. Okay, then let's go to the results there. Now the next one. Okay. So please, I wanted to I want the presenter to throw more light on this side, the ANOVA. Hello.
Okay, yeah, I've unmuted. What's the specific question, please?
Yes. So, please, why ANOVA for this study?
Okay. Okay, we use the analysis of variance because the data was normally distributed and the variance of two sets of the data were the same. And you know, ANOVA is used to evaluate differences between data sets, which can be any number of data sets and recorded from any process. And you know that analysis of variance, we have several types of them. The data sets may not be equal in size. They can be infinitely large sets of numbers. And also we use ANOVA because it produces an F ratio from which the significance, that the p-value, can be calculated. So I think that was the rationale behind the use.
Please, so you said that the data was normally distributed. Do you have the normality test?
I don't have it here.
So how is the data? How do you confirm that the data was normally distributed? Because we are dealing with the this GDP,
well,
right?
Even if it was not, even though they were not okay, we have the data sets and we try to exclude the, like I said, there's some countries that didn't have the same number like others. Like that's why I said in the discussion that because there was paucity of data for some of the African countries, a limitation, we had to exclude those countries from the analysis.
Okay, that's my observation though. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other thoughts? Any other comment? Any other question? Yeah, I have Haytham.
Hello. Here, just one observation that because the result of this ANOVA is supposed not to be like this, because we have to extract the data to another table. It's still like raw data, because now even we have significant, we don't know which and which. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I have Olabisi Dedeke.
I want to thank you, Bright. I want to appreciate Group 2 for the presentation. I want to say it was quite, it was concise, and to say that it's a reflection of some of the things we've been taught, because they went straight to the point, they were able to give us the information, and they were direct about it, and they kept to time. I appreciate them for this. Thank you, and over.
All right. Any other thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, who is speaking?
Kelvin.
Kelvin.
So I think just to put it differently, I want to thank Group 1 for their presentation. Then the question was regarding ANOVA, like what does it really answer regarding your questions? Because each test you do should be leading you to answer a particular question. So what was this ANOVA really leading you to, what was it solving? Thank you.
Okay, the ANOVA, apart from us getting the means and then the p-value, helped us to emphasize the fact that there's a lot of significant variance between the countries and then even the continent itself compared to other regions. Because here we see that the p-value compared to our own is really lower compared to what we use to test it, the results. Thank you.
Okay, I have Niri and Olayinka. Then I can say something. I will move on.
If I want to add up to what she said concerning the ANOVA being important in this analysis. We're comparing and contrasting trends. We wanted to know if there's significant difference. So that's why ANOVA is important in showing us whether there's significant difference in the GDPs. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Olayinka, please.
Good day, everybody. Yeah, yes, Well, for those of us that may have statistical background, ANOVA could be used when there is normality, when the thing is homogeneous or is normally distributed. We can also use Wilcox test if it is not normally distributed. Yeah, but the fact is many people are conversant with ANOVA more than Wilcox, and maybe because of the time, that might be the reason. Even me myself, I quickly did a maneuver rather than doing Wilcox. But the question is this: how is it? Are you comparing your ANOVA? Were you comparing the various countries or the various regions? And that's one of the things you should have emphasized, because yes, your grouping could be either in regions, looking at how Africa fared compared to other regions, or were you looking at the countries in Africa? Now, somebody that talked about this, how whether this should not be how a maneuver should be reported. Of course, this is just a little presentation. If you want to get where the differences are coming from, which groups, then you have to run what they call Tunki HSD test, and that will be longer, will not be easily presented here, because that is what we tell you that yes, among these groups there is a difference somewhere. Now, which of the groups brought out the difference? Tunki HSD test will give you that, but that will be long for you to bring out there. So that's all I have to contribute. And again, Dr. Bright, I wouldn't know, while this the people who brought up this data segmented Africa, or the way they regionalize the thing is different from talking about different continents. The same thing happened to our own data also. Some African countries were grouped with North America and just North Africa and maybe Latin America, then Sub-Saharan Africa. So merging the two together at times could be difficult. So I wouldn't know the reason why those who regionalize it that way, went it about it there. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, time is flying. Let's clear this up. The way it's going, it looks like we spend more time than we have planned. So please, just to let you know so that you don't get agitated about it. But the discussion coming up here, I think, is quite interesting. The first thing is to answer Olayinka. This is World Bank. The way the World Bank groups the world in terms of resources need and infrastructure that are tied together. So for instance, some North African countries are grouped with the Middle East countries, so that is the way World Bank does that. But how does that affect what you're asked to do? So and that is one of the things you can really put in here when you make your presentation. Yesterday or 2 days ago, when we were discussing about the discussion section, we mentioned the strength and limitation of the study. So that is where you can also highlight that the data set received, because it's a secondary data set, it was not planned for what you have done. It was collected for other purposes. And because it was collected for other purposes, it has not been really presented in the way you would have used it to answer your question. So in answering your question, some limitations were encountered. For instance, some African countries were grouped with Middle East countries, and some other countries from other regions were also grouped in a way that it was difficult to separate them so that you can really dissect your question. So that is one of the things I'm not saying the group should go back and begin to do expo, what we call in Nigeria, and begin to change their distance. But just to say that this is some of the things you can highlight when you're making your presentation. Okay. That is one. Group two, can you go to your abstract quickly? Go to your abstract. So I will mention things here so that all the groups can learn, but I'm not saying those groups that are presented, they should go back and start. I believe that you have done a fantastic job as well as group. Sorry, group 3, I didn't say thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your presentation and what you have done within the short time that we we have had this week. The comments I'm going to make, you can take them into writing the paper you're sending to me next Friday. Now, you see your abstract here now. Yes, you have given us the background, then you have given us the aim of your study, and then so I don't know why you chose to present it this way. You didn't present a structured abstract. Do you have a reason for that? I mean, this is fine, but I don't know if why you chose. You didn't, for instance, put a background, objective, method to sectionalize the abstract.
It's not mandatory for all journals, although you taught us that. And then secondly, time constraints.
Okay, time constraint. Okay. But you see what, if you look at the abstract now, I'm not sure how many words, if you count it, but you can see that 3 paragraphs actually took the background and the objective. So 3 paragraphs, the first point, the second point, and third point. So you need to be careful when you are taking space in your abstract, because the method section and the results are important sections that you need to dedicate space as well. And now in your abstract here, I don't see your method. We mentioned that when we are going through some abstract. I don't see your method, what you have used. I know that you have used some statistical tests to analyze your data. Some of those that are key will be mentioned in the method section. Where the data have come from, could be mentioned also. So if you take off some space from the background and the objectives, you could add those. Although you mentioned using secondary data, but you can already say that using data provided on the website of the World Bank, okay, or World Bank repository, that you did this, okay. And you are actually comparing the time period. You are looking at the trend over the time period. In your abstract, it should also be clear. We're looking at trend between 2000 and 2020. So some things are missing from your abstract. Now you go to the results section. You say the results showed, that statement is safe. It's putting the reader in a position that reader has been given the result already. Okay, but we don't see the result. We don't see the result. So the reader would have to go to your paper, but your abstract should, we mentioned it should be a miniature of your paper. So you can say this is the result, and then before you can say what the result showed. Okay, so the abstract needs to be improved. Now, if you stop sharing, let me share something. I will bring you back to share again, but let me show something. I think this also concerns all the groups. This was your question, group 2. I think similar thing for all the groups. Questions. Compare and contrast the trends in imports of goods and services as a percentage of GDP across the world regions between 2000 and 2020. How did the African continent fare compared to the other world regions? Which countries in Africa are importing less? And yeah, so you answered 2 and 3, but 2 and 3 are implication of 1. Now you can start sharing again. Let me say, because I will take you through some of your slide. Now the key thing here that you are solving and other groups are solving is trend. Okay, and you have been given a time period. So when you're writing your paper that concerns trend, then you need to present trend data. And so what will you use? You can use some graphics that show yearly imports across the period that you're comparing, and one can see a line of how Africa has moved, one can see a line of how other regions can have moved. Okay, now go to your figure one. Figure one. Yeah, so this one now, you have shown this. Well, when I saw this, I don't know what year is this. Okay, you have a time period of 2000 to 2020. I don't know what year is it. Then you go to figure one, table one, sorry. Yeah, so you presented ANOVA test year, but I don't know what year this is. Okay, now from the discussion that many of you have centered on this picture here, it showed, because I have looked at the evaluation some of you have put in there, and I saw the recommendation, your suggestion for the next course. Most of you are suggesting that we do the data analysis course. That is the highest. Okay. And that gave me an impression of what discussion was going on here. And from what you have presented here, then I found that there's a need to have a training in data analysis, okay, to explain how some of these things. I wouldn't go into details there, but here, once you have given this, I don't know what the numbers mean. And these are not the numbers actually I'm looking for. I know the reason you're giving this. This is an issue across the globe whereby people show certain numbers that actually do not tell the story. P-values and all those, but those are not really the numbers. I want to see what is the average, what is the standard deviation of that average you're comparing. And then if you are comparing 2 things or 3 things, you can add p-value as a show of how the average or difference in average is statistically significant. But I need that average to be able to say, okay, Africa is doing this amount, the other countries are doing this amount. So that is important. If you go to the other tables and figures, it was not clear to me what year those are actually represented. So the point here is that when you have a question of trend, the presentation will be not just a static presentation, but it will be a trend presentation in which between the year 2000 and 2020, we expect to have that trend data that show how the different regions of the world have moved. So please take this into account. You may not need to go and reanalyze your data. If you want to do that, it's an extra skill you get from their knowledge. But just in going forward, this course is not about statistical analysis. It's not about data analysis, about scientific writing. But just to highlight, when you have a title and you have a question you have posed, readers are expecting to have the results or data that reflects that question. Okay, I know this is not the area of many of you. Olayinka, is your hand raising up or?
No, I appreciate you.
Okay, clapping. All right. Okay, let's go to group one. Do you want me to show now? Are you ready? That means group one, you have.
Yes.
Group one, you need to be super quick to get this through.
Yeah, sure.
Because you have taken our time.
Can I share? Can I share, please?
Please go on.
Prof? Okay.
I'm sharing now, so you can direct me.
The thing is, we made a little correction on it. Will you mind?
What? See, I said that some people are doing expo. Now I was talking.
No, but sir, that's the benefit.
Please.
That is the benefit of doing the not go first. Yeah, you want to share from your end? I've stopped sharing, so you can share from your end.
Yeah. Thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, put it on presentation mode, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Group 1 presentation. Our topic is comparative of mortality of road traffic injury across the world regions between 2000 and 2019. We are group 8 members. So our abstract, the mortality rate caused by the road traffic injury is approximately 1.3 million people yearly, especially in low and mid-income countries. This calls for the need to at least the mortality figures through various strategies, including this study. The objective of this study is meant to understand the trend and challenge of road traffic injuries leading to mortality. This will go a longer way for policy formation, implementation, and running of service that will capture the phenomenon. The method of this study is comparative, one with emphasis on the African region using longitudinal design. So in our results, we saw that Africa has the highest mortality rates due to road traffic injury in comparative to other regions of the world. Our conclusion is African continent has the highest mortality from road traffic injury in Africa, and the Egypt has the least mortality, while Cameroon has the highest mortality. So,
yeah, you need to be super quick, Leah. You just mentioned the abstract, so please run faster.
So, as we said, the low and middle income country account for the 93% of the world fatalities on the roads, even if these countries have approximately 60% of the world vehicles. This was reported by WHO. The larger problem facing the care of critically injured in resource-poor setting stems from paucity of accurate data, particularly in sub-Saharan African region. It is believed that understanding the trend in mortality from road traffic injury can help predict the need for additional services and resources for policy development and set strategies for prevention strategies. So, as I said, our main objective was to compare and contrast the rate and trend of mortality per 100,000 population caused by the road traffic injury across the world region between 2000 and 2019. And our specific objective was to compare the African continent fare with the other world region, to contrast which country in Africa has least mortality rate and encouraging trend, and which country have the highest mortality rate and worst trend over time. The method, the real world data or number of mortality from road traffic injury across the world region between that year was obtained from the World Bank data repository found here on that link. All data collected has adhered to ethical standards. Statistical analysis was done using SPSS version 23. Means frequency distribution percentage and the analysis of variance and ANOVA were performed. From our results, you can see this figure 1 shows the mortality rate per 100,000 population caused by road traffic injury across the world region between that year. And we find out that African continent has the highest average road traffic injury related mortality rates, which is 26.50 per 100,000, compared to other region average, while Europe had the lowest, 10.78 per 100. And in this figure 2, mortality rate per 100,000 population caused by road traffic injury across African continent region between 2000 and 2019, we saw that South Africa recorded the highest mortality with 28.75 per the population. So in our table 1, we find out that the results in this table shows that Egypt has the least mortality rates, while Zimbabwe and Cameroon have the highest mortality rates compared with the other African countries. Our discussion, we found that moreover, in many countries, there is increased use of motorbikes for public transport, and often these are in poor mechanical states and are usually overloaded. Also, there are no public awareness campaigns on the needs to use seat belts. The study showed that African continent has had the highest mortality from road traffic injury. Within Africa, Egypt has the least, while Cameroon has the highest mortality. We recommend that to reduce road traffic injury, government within the continent should improve road infrastructure. Secondly, campaign awareness should be promoted to all road users in African region. Thank you very much.
Okay.
These are the reference.
Yeah, thank you very much, Group 1. Comments? You can take us to your beginning abstract section. Comments from others? Any comment, questions? Any question? Yeah, I see Bira, then Neri.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Group 2, for your presentation. When you look at your method—
Group 1, please. Group 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, Group 1, sorry. Yeah, I really commend your work. You've done an excellent job, but when you talked of ANOVA, I don't know if you've just put it in because you had the Group 2 talk about it, because you've not shown us any analysis where you've carried out that ANOVA. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We didn't actually put each and everything, but we know, of course, ANOVA is analysis of variance. The table, we didn't show it, but we had it. So we will give out in the main document. Thank you.
All right, Neri.
Group 1, thank you for your presentation. But I want to add that every result is supposed to be presented, as in we're supposed to see, if you use ANOVA, we're supposed to see the result of your ANOVA. And the second question is, like, just for me, I want to get clarification. Is it necessary if I'm doing a presentation slide, probably for my own future presentation, do I need to add the abstract? Is it necessary to add the abstract on my presentation slide?
Okay, Neri, what we are discussing this week is scientific writing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And we went through the different sections. So if I don't see an abstract in the presentation for this presentation, then I will lower your mark. I will lower your mark, and you get half certificate. Anyway, it's not graded, so you have your full certificate. But yes, it depends on the presentation you're making. But for this week, since we are presenting, we are looking at scientific writing, the abstract is mandatory. Okay, because that is where we start now. That is where we start. Like I'm looking at Group 1 abstract here. I will start making my criticism from there, because that is one thing you want to see in scientific writing, that people because if the abstract is not interesting, then it's really difficult to read further. Okay.
Okay, thank you,
For
Prof.
you, yeah. All right.
So this is like an expo for the other groups that have not presented.
Well,
thank you, Prof.
Which group are you, Neri?
I'll be Group 2.
Oh, you are presented already. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I thought you were asking the question so that you can help yourself. Okay, Bira, again.
Yes, sorry for coming up again. Like Professor had suggested, you were talking about the trend, but you've not taken us through the trend all over the years. So you need to add that in your final document.
Yes, that is very important. That is very important, group one. Look at your abstract. You can see that, like I mentioned to group two, you can see that the background and the objective took more than half of your abstract. Can you imagine that? Okay, people are looking forward to the real stuff. Of course, they are also real stuff, but your background took a lot of space. The objective took a lot of space, and I'm not very comfortable with the way you have stated your objective. You know, objective needs to hit well. You need to hit well. You said the study is meant. Goodness me, that is already creating some impression. So you can say the objective of this study was, okay, not the study is meant to. No, don't use such very passive language. You need to be active and straight to the point. So the selection of words we didn't but anyway, I will put some text in the Google Drive so that you can see some words, transition text, transition verbs, construction you can use in delineating different aspects of your presentation. Now, if you go to the method, you also had the same problem. You also had the same problem group two had. The study is a comparative one with emphasis on the African region using a longitudinal design. No, that is not sufficient. In fact, you don't need to emphasize that. We need you to describe where have you got the data? What analysis method did you use to analyze your data? So those are some of the things you need to put there. And Africa has the highest mortality rate due to road traffic injury in comparison to other regions of the world. How do I know that from this abstract? Is it just that you have put a statement? The statement may be wrong. You just put it there to attract my attention. How do I know that? You need to show me the data. You need to show me the results. Africa, the rate of mortality due to road accident during this period for Africa was this, compared to other regions was this. You understand? So you need to show the results, and the reader will not have that information from what you have described there. So that is quite important. And the final thing I want to say here is what Bira has said. The goal was trend. So I expect to see trend result. So you need to present the trend result so that people will see, because that is the expectation. And you calculated, was it calculate mean mortality or something like that? Mortality rate. Well, this is not a data analysis class, but in terms of mortality, is a rate. Okay, so people expect you to give a rate. The mean may not be suitable for estimating the rate, because rate itself is a quantity. It's a quantity, you know. So you can present the rate over the period, yearly rate, and then plot it, and then one can see how Africa fared with regards to other continents or regions in the world. Okay, for the sake of time, I will stop here. I see Idrisu, you have quick comment there, then we'll move on.
I have quick comment on the conclusion too. They provided the conclusion, but they did not give any direction in terms of policy implications. So that was, but in if you go to their main conclusion, they provided what should be the direction, but in the abstract.
In the abstract, yeah. So you have to know that that is quite important. Okay, and so if you save space from the background and objective, then you can easily, because the abstract really, you know, I mentioned that the Igbo business or marketers can deal with you and get you interested. That is what the abstract should be. The abstract should be mouth-watering, get you into where I need to read the whole of this paper. Okay. So anyway, let's go to group 3. Group 3, are you ready? Yeah, group 1, you can stop sharing. Let's go to group 3. So group 1, you can put this comment I've made into your write-up, and so that when I get it, we have some of this stuff there. Group 3, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Yeah,
Can you please Prof, share the PowerPoint?
Me?
Yes. With
Did you,
you. Yes, send to your email. Yes.
Did you send to me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me check that. So group 3, just a minute.
From PP.
Okay, group 3. You have 26 slides, group 3. So you need to run the same boat speed now.
Yes, hello. Our topic is research and development expenditure trend in Africa. This is group 3. I'm presenting on behalf of group 3. Next, please. The content is contain abstract introduction, rational objectives, which is both of them are the broad one and the specific one. Material, research question, material and methods, results, discussion, conclusion, and recommendation. Next, please. Yeah, in our abstract, the trend of Africa continent expenditure on research and development was unknown. In the material data on GDP expenditure on R&D from 2000 to 2018 from World Bank was used. Data was cleaned and analyzed using simple descriptive analytical approach. In our result, the total percentage of GDP expenditure on R&D on the entire Africa continent is 4.03% compared to North America 49.6% and Europe 33.8% and 12.9% for Latin America. Furthermore, South Africa, Tunisia, and Egypt performing the highest with 0.79, 0.71, and 0.67 respectively. In our conclusion, as compared to the global economic, African expenditure on R&D is significantly low, despite the R&D surprising countries, Rwanda and Kenya, and disappointing countries like Nigeria, Sudan, and Ghana. We recommend an urgent study into Africa situation, proposing measures to salvage the massive R&D investment gap. Next, please. Introduction. Research and development expenditure has been acclaimed to support innovative and economic development. R&D is an indicator to monitor the economic performance of a nation. Top 5 R&D performance in absolute term is this descending order global data. In our national, the leading 5 countries are Israel, South Korea, Switzerland, Germany, and USA. Accordance with SDG data, countries have pledged to build resilience economic by resigning into target 9.5. Countries are tasked to substantially increase percentage in research and research and development expenditure on R&D. The target 9.5 to enhance scientific research in all countries by 2030. Nevertheless, observing the amount of research and development within the globe economics, it is obvious Africa has no visibility. According to the recent reports, most African countries are unable to meet the commitment made by ANU on spending just 1% of their GDP on R&D. Next, please.
Yeah, Nuha, you don't have too much time really. So you have to really speed up to be able to meet up your time.
Okay. Next, please. The current era of COVID-19 pandemic has further revealed the status of developing nation contribution in R&D. Hence, they are a state of silence due to their inability to contribute towards their agenda. Knowledge of investment of different African countries on scientific research is minimal. Therefore, strategies must be set in place to enhance the benefit of scientific knowledge towards society's transformation and growth. Therefore, the need for research into trends of expenditure among global economic with a specific focus on Africa. Next, please. So our research question was, what is the trend of African countries' expenditure on research and development as percentage GDP? Next, please. Our major objective to assess the trend of research and development expenditure in percentage GDP across the globe over the period of 2000 to 2018, and specific to compare the African continent and how it's faring as compared to the other region of the world. As a specific objective to identify which African country is doing best in compared to the rest. Next, please. In the material and method, we have this study is descriptive observational comparative studies. The data was retrieved from the World Bank data warehouse in December 2021. The data was subjected to cleaning process to remove duplicate and redundancy. Next, please. Statistical analysis to establish comparison between the different regions of the world. Descriptive statistical analysis was performed to analyze the curated data and to calculate the average of the total expenditure for 19 years from 2000 to 2018. We have used Excel spreadsheet just to calculate the average. Yeah. Next, please. Our result. Can we go directly to the next one, please? Yeah. Next slide, please. So the first figure represent or show the global trend on research and development expenditure per year. So we have done this analysis per year to see, for example, we have the first left arrow shows the minimum just correspond to 2002, and the highest expenditure was in 2010. So this is the global trend across the 19 years. Next, please. Next figure. Yeah, this is a comparison also between the average of the global regions expenditure on research and development over 19 years. So we have just sum up during this 19 years the different region of the world. So the first three at the left side, these are the African regions and compared to the other regions of the world. We can see the highest one, NAC, this is the North America, and then the minimum one also at the right side, TMN, this is are the Arab countries, and the three at the beginning at the left, these are the different regions. You see the first one, AFE, including South Africa. Next, please. Yeah, this is also comparison of the different countries within Africa. Also, you can see very clear, these are the three main major countries in Africa. South Africa, the highest one, then Tunisia, and then we have Egypt. So those are the major countries or the highest countries performing in Africa. Next slide, please. So the total of the percentage GDP of the three African countries together was 21.2. While the total average of the different countries the sum of that, we found it 35.1. So this is a discrepancy because we have calculated that as region and then we have calculated as countries, and we found this discrepancy because we have a lot of data missing. Next, please. Our result: countries improving gradually. Egypt moving from 0.5% in 2009 to 0.7% in 2013. Countries stabilize over time, like Tunisia and South Africa. For example, South Africa performing best between the period 2005 to 2009. Countries deteriorating badly, like Sudan, from 0.5 before 1999 to 0.3 after 2005. Next, please. In our discussion, according to the data, the top 5 R&D performs in relative, in terms of R&D expenditure was proportion of GDP. Are Israel the first one, then Republic of Korea 4.2, Israel 4.3, being the leaders of the countries, followed by Switzerland 3.4 and Sweden 3.3 and Japan 3.1. Total expenditure of the Europe and South Asia is $177.8 billion. North America, $160.8 billion. Total expenditure of all regions of Africa together is 21. We see that Africa is the least regions of the world, and most expenditure in Africa is coming from South Africa. South Africa is investing almost 18 billion dollars of their on R&D. Also, the finding revealed diversity in research and development expenditure among African countries. Some African countries like South Africa, Tunisia, and Egypt are performing the best, and the least countries next slide, please. Mauritania and Madagascar, yes. The African countries performing in GDP the highest, as we have mentioned, the 3 countries, the intermediate, Sudan, Ghana, and Botswana. The most least, Madagascar, Mauritania. The least, Nigeria, Uganda, and Zambia with these figures. Insufficient data we found it for Kenya, although one data we found it for Kenya, it was very impressive. So we are interested to know how Kenya was performing during all these years. Next, please. Yeah, some countries there is no data there. So this is our question here. In 2005, yeah, okay, I'm not going to repeat this one because I already mentioned that Sudan deteriorated. The R&D for Sudan before 1999 it was 0.5. After 2005, it decreased to 0.3, and now we don't know how much is it? Is it Angola is 0.03? It's just one figure. So we don't have data for many countries.
Okay, you need to conclude now.
Yeah, excellent example. We found it in Rwanda. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide, please. In conclusion, Africa is the least performance in R&D expenditure as compared to the other region of the world. Wider R&D performance variation across the different African nations. Limitation due to the data unavailability and accessibility. The study failed to reflect the R&D reality in all African nations. Our recommendations: the study recommends the availability and accessibility of data. Policy directives should be mandate the GDP of Africa nation and their leadership to reflectively execute their R&D chart. Next, please. Future studies to determine factors on R&D expenditure across African countries or at the individual country level. Studies on barriers and measures to R&D expenditure performance across Africa. A study to establish the percentage of national budget allocated to R&D across African countries or at individual country level. Next, please. We acknowledge ASFI, African Scientists Frontier Initiative, for their platform and investment in US guidance and support, free service to African. Special appreciation to Professor Bright and Dr. Iman, to World Bank for their secondary data to be available, and our colleagues for all the other participants also. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir. Thanks very much.
Yes.
All right, any quick question? Quick question? Other groups coming, I would prefer if you can stay within the 10 minutes. Don't have too much presentation. Any hand coming up for group 3?
Recording in progress.
Any comments for group 3? Okay, just to highlight, you see here, group 3, thank you for your presentation. I think—
Sorry, Professor.
Yes?
Please allow me to ask a question.
Yeah.
I noticed that the Kenya data has been stagnant for 19 years. So I wonder what's the interpretation of that? What does that mean? Thank you.
So it means that they have no data. So it's not clear. They can't get it. They can't get that information from there unless they investigate why Kenya has not provided data. So the data must be somewhere, but it seems like the World Bank does not have that data for Kenya. Okay, so Marion, that is Marion and the Kenyans who are here. That is a big assignment for you now to write to your president. We're missing somewhere. Okay, so
thank you.
Yeah, here you say a background, and then you went straight to materials and method. Okay, we don't know what your aim is. Group 3. So you have to ensure that you have your aim stated, your aim or objective not given here. Okay.
Yes, you have it in the original document, but we are going copy and paste. Yeah, I realize that you have forgot to do that.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think you improve in certain aspects when it came to your the results. You see this one here. This is good. You know, you're showing a trend, but one thing that you fail to do here is that you're presenting the global trend. Okay, the question is not the global trend, really. The question you have is not the global trend, but it is good that you have showed us the global trend. One thing you would have done here is, why didn't you just include this trend for Africa, include for other regions? Let the graphs be there. That would have been a complete picture. Okay, you have done the same thing so that we see what is happening to Africa compared to the global average over the period. Other regions compared. So you need to really take advantage of what you have. And then you came here, you know, we're expecting to have global trend over time, and then you just chop the data and gave us average over the period. You see, averages are good, but they can actually mislead you. The mean can mislead you. Because here, the regions are given here, and you are presenting average over the period. It is not clear for me which year, for instance, did America not do well? Which year did they do best? Okay, which year did Africa do better than other regions? Our web. I don't know whether we have that, but yeah, it's good to have that information. But when you have me like this, as other groups had, then you are really concealing the information that would have had. The mean here is more sophisticated. The trend would have been simpler. And the simpler one is what we have been stressing in this course. Make your presentation simple, straight to the point. Don't complicate things. Who is that? Okay, now this one is, why did you choose this, Nuha? Let me just ask you. Something is in my mind, but I don't know if that is why you choose this colors. You like it like this?
Not me, but all the groups.
All the groups. Yeah, you are representing the group. You made the presentation. Some ask. Okay, group 3. Do you like it like this?
Yes, we love it, Prof.
You love it even, not even like, you love it. Goodness me.
You advise us to what not to do next time, please. Thank you.
All right.
Africa is colorful.
Africa is, that was what was coming to my mind. Yeah, Africa is colorful, but you know, Africa being colorful, you have to be careful not to take it into your data presentation, of course, because then it can make readers to begin to wonder, oh, do you really need one in the first place 3D presentation for the simple data? Do you need these colors everywhere? Okay, you may have it on your wrapper, you may have it on your hat, you may have it on your dress to wear African colors, but do you really need that here? Because what you have here now, so much color speaks volume, but it can, for some people, it can be irritating because there are people they call color blind.
Somebody just said it.
Yeah, color blind. You know, you can use, because what you're showing, you can just use black and white or those common colors that are easy, you know. So this goes to everybody. This goes to everybody. The last thing I will speak to group 3.
Right.
Yes, Eman.
Okay. For this figure, it's better to be presented as a trend form like the previous figure.
Yeah.
So it will show more better results, and every country will be a continuous line which will show and more information can be taken.
Sure. I agree with that. Absolutely. In fact, we keep on stressing here. You know, the problem we have had with scientists is that we have made ourselves so sophisticated that now I go, they can change the color of the hair. I go and have my long hair and make my hair white, and then I take and I wear my small glasses, I wear my suit, and people say, Professor said, that guy has red, that guy is sophisticated. So scientists, we are making ourselves so sophisticated that our message becomes difficult to be captured by those who are supposed. So let's be very simple, very simple. I know Africa is colorful and we are colorful people, but when you come to this, we need to think carefully if our color will help matters or even complicate matters. The last thing is this, which I'm speaking to all the groups, the ones that are presented. I'm not sure those that are coming to present. Emma, you can take note of this. I think this is one of the things we can include when we do our tips and tricks next year is how to present. How to present. We are all at fault. I am also at fault. How to make your slide, how to present it. When you are making presentation, don't begin to read everything. It's not like there's things you don't read, but don't begin to read everything you have put there. That is not the goal. Otherwise, you just show the screen and close your mouth and the viewers will read it. If that is the goal, to read everything you have there. So it's called presentation, and there are skills to learn to present, skills to learn to prepare your slide. Okay, I think we'll come back to that. The groups that are presented have seen in that. I hope those that are coming will not do the same. So the presentation is that you go straight and present the key messages and on this slide, and move. And please keep to time because it is quite important. Okay. All right. Let's go to Bira. Bira, you have a question?
Yes, I wanted to comment on the slide that was on the screen.
Ah, you wanted?
They talked about South Africa leading in GDP, but that graph is not showing South Africa.
It's not sure, yeah, because it was so jam-packed that the name South Africa could not be
it was
contained.
crowded, like you said, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was the problem they had there. Isn't it, Noah?
We tried to put figures on top of the bars, but we found because the number it has long decimal and we have no time to clean that to make one decimal and then put it.
Okay.
Also, we have discussed idea of using line, and then we found our line is it's just irritating. Maybe it's going to be similar to the one presented in the Paris Group 2 presentation. So this is why we moved to the histogram presentation.
Okay, let's go to group 4. Group 4, you have 23 slides, like group 3 had 26. So you have to run through this so that you are within time, really. Okay. Sorry.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are presenting, please can you go back to the first slide, number of published articles in Africa. For the abstract, number of published scientific and technical journal articles. Next slide, please. Next slide. For the abstract, scientific and technical journal articles, SATJ, refer to the number of scientific and engineering articles that are published in different fields used by experts to assess and evaluate the performance of researchers, universities, countries, regions, and disciplines. The global trends have shown differences between regions over time. Her study therefore aims to compare trends in the number of published SATJ across the world, emphasizing how the African continent has fared. It was conducted as a cohort study from 2000 to 2018, and it involved 228 countries. The data was gathered from the World Bank's database. We found that the most published countries are decreasing their contribution, while the poor and upper middle income countries are slowly increasing their own contribution. And we found that Africa is contributing more against the trends that was seen in the 90s, but the amount of the papers that Africa is contributing still represent less than 0.5% of the global production. And the countries that are contributing the most in Africa are South Africa, Egypt, and Tunisia, while Equatorial Guinea, South Africa, and South Tome are contributing less with about 0.1%. And we concluded that despite the increasing trend in publications of developed countries and the improving trend from African regions, there's still no significant contribution from Africa in comparison to other regions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide. By way of introduction, no, go to the introduction, please. By way of introduction, scientific and technical journal articles refer to the number of scientific and engineering articles that are published in different fields. We've shown that the global trends have shown differences between regions from over the time, with a consistent insignificant contribution from Africa. Our study aims to compare the trends in the number of published scientific journals across the world, emphasizing how the African continent has fared compared to the other regions. Next slide, please. Next slide. A total of about 35,000 articles have been produced since over 6 decades, and the African continent has only contributed about 650. Next slide, please. Our objectives of the study was to compare and contrast the trends in the number of published scientific and technical journal articles across the world regions between 2000 and 2018, to compare how the African continent has fared with the other world regions, to highlight the African countries with the most published scientific articles, and to also highlight the African countries with the least published scientific articles and the trends. Next slide, please. For the study method, the data was extracted from the World Bank data that was given to us. And for the analysis, MS Excel was used, and data presented in percentages, charts, and tables. Next slide, please. For our results. And this figure shows that the OECD members are the ones that have contributed the most published scientific journals out of all the various regions in the world. Next slide, please. This figure is showing the trend in publication from different world regions by economic classification. We can see that for the high income regions, which is this first one on the left, it shows that despite the fact that they are contributing the most publications, the trend over time has been a steady decline in the number of publications being published. Whereas if you look at the low and middle income regions, you can see that in spite of the fact that they are not contributing as much as the OECD members, but there has been a progressively steady increase in the number of publications being produced from these regions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is also the publication trend. This figure shows the publication trends across African regions, and it shows that the Middle East and North African region has steadily been, the trend has been that it's been steadily increasing in the number of publications, scientific publications being churned out, while the Africa Western and Central regions, as though it is increasing, but the trend is very low compared to the Middle East and North African regions. Next slide, please. This slide shows the proportion of publications by countries in Africa. And we can see on this slide that South Sudan, Equatorial Guinea, has contributed the least with 0.01%, while South Africa has contributed the most with 32%, followed by Egypt and Tunisia. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Then publication by region. From Eastern African region, Kenya has contributed the most with 2.9% publications. Next slide. In the Southern African region, we can see that South Africa has contributed remarkably the most. And in fact, in the whole of Africa, they are the most published nations. When you compare the trend relative to all the other South African countries, there is a world of difference between the publications emanating from South Africa and the other South African countries. Next slide, please. In the Middle African countries or the Central African countries, Cameroon is the most published. And you can see that this trend, Cameroon has contributed about 1.7%, while in Equatorial Guinea, there is even no publication from Equatorial Guinea. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. In the Western African countries, Nigeria is the country that has contributed the most, followed by Ghana, while some countries like Liberia has very minimal contribution with 0.03%. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this slide is showing the trends in the African countries from 2000 to 2018. And as been said, South Africa is the most, that's the gray slide, the first one there. That South Africa is the most, followed by Egypt. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. For our discussion, there is a gradual upward trend in most countries, especially the developing countries. But in spite of this upward trend in the publication output of developing regions like Africa, she still lags behind. And it can be clearly deduced that the whole of Africa region accounted for only 2.3% for the duration of the period under study. And this finding has been supported by Asari et al. There has been a remarkable increase in the article output in the globally developed regions as compared to developing and other poor regions. These findings corroborate the work of Adebowale et al. And the implication of this is that greater percentage of global publications are generated from the developed countries, while Africa and other developing countries still remain the consumers of this knowledge from these developed regions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Africa publication trend across Africa has been shown previously, shows that Southern Africa happens to be the highest, while Central Africa has contributed the lowest percentage. And the noticeable difference between Southern Africa when compared with other member countries, within South Africa when compared with other countries in that region, can be explained by the fact by the population composition that comprised majorly of colonial masters that introduced and sponsored tertiary institutions. And these same colonial masters are still residing in that region. And it's also explained by the fact that a large proportion of their the governing system allocates a good budget for research and development. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Western African region showed the same trend, with Nigeria scoring the highest percentage. And this could be compared to other West African member countries. And this may be attributed to the population advantage. The distribution in Eastern Africa can be compared to that in Western and Central Africa, where the publication distribution was seen across many member countries, unlike the South African region, where South Africa stood out. Though there was no chart for Northern region generally, however, Egypt is the highest, and in fact, in Africa, is the second most published country after South Africa. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Skip. We've said it. Next slide, please. The country's data shows that it is lowest in Sao Tome. Next slide, please. We've discussed all this. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. In conclusion, traditional scientific publishing that is in peer-reviewed journal is on the increase in Africa. Although, no, please, can you go back to my conclusion, please? Although this only accounts for 2.3% of the total global output, South Africa is leading in terms of publication output in Africa, followed by Egypt, Tunisia, and then Nigeria. While on the other hand, Niger Republic is the least contributor in terms of scientific research output. Other countries had no data. The next slide shows a conclusion. And though we did, the next slide shows our references. While we did not put the acknowledgement, we want to sincerely acknowledge ASFI for giving us this opportunity to present this data, this paper. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I was muted. Thank you. Was it Stella that was presenting for group 4?
Yes, sir.
Great,
yes.
Great. Stella, are you angry? Are you angry with what you're seeing with your data? Are you angry?
Yes.
You're angry. So that's why you're presenting with so much passion, because you can see that something is happening in our continent. And then you can see why ASFI is here to stay. ASFI is here to stay. So this is and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask the whole group at the end of the presentation. How much you aligned with the project you have done. I selected it intentionally because that is one of the things that raised the burning fire in us to start this organization you find here. Because this is group 4 now presenting. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4. All the conclusion was our continent, whether it's mortality from traffic, whether from publication, whether from funding, our continent remains the baby.
Yes.
So in addition to the skills you have gained from here, I want you to live here this week with the same anger Stella has. Something needs to be done. Something, and this concerns what we have been doing this week in this course. How do we compete? How do we write scientific papers that are of global standard? Those who have attended this course this week, I don't know if you have an excuse not to do it going forward. Okay, let me give room to others. Anyone who has, I saw 2 hands. Who are those who raise their hands? The hands are gone. All right, I have Olayinka here and Bira.
Can I go first?
Yeah, Olayinka, go first, then Bira will come.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Stella Ogunwiwa, for the presentation. Quite a nice one. So Nigeria should make use of the advantage to also come up first in Africa, to overtake Egypt and South Africa, and then lead. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just like what Professor Bright has pointed out in terms of presentation skill. Look at the abstracts, the introduction, they were quite wordy. Like we always say here, they are not bulleted.
Yes.
Yeah, the same thing. I'm not trying to embarrass you, Ma, so don't feel embarrassed.
No, I
Yeah.
know. No, actually, this abstract was added at the last minute. It wasn't there before. It was when the other, yes, like we just picked what we wrote and just dumped everything there. So it was just a few minutes before. So I know it is not what the standard should be.
Okay, the same thing with my group also. I've been trying to say, no, bullet, phrases.
Yes.
Just take a phrase. When you are speaking, you speak to that slide. Rather than, because when you have too much words, you'll be tempted to read. But if it's a phrase, with that phrase, you explain, you move. Phrase, you explain, you move. So thanks that Professor Bright have also mentioned that's part of what we include in the next distance. That's what I'm telling you now. Really gave me favor when I presented a particular proposal that, wow, so that I was speaking to the slides. I was not looking, I was no, yes. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Better that way. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Bira.
Yeah, in fact, the previous presenter has just said what I wanted to say. I must commend Group 4. I'm a member. Much as the slides were crowded, but Stella tried to present by not reading word by word, and that's why she has finished on time. Thank you, Stella.
So you're getting the fire now. When you read, you waste our time, you waste your time, then you get confused.
They even make us doze.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they make you sleep, isn't it? Anyway, thank you very much, Stella. I think your group has done well. I have to say that. And I think your data, you see, things like this one becomes quite crowded. Okay, so you have to find, there are different ways to present data like this. So you have to find which way can I know you didn't have so much time to think about this, but you can find better ways to do it because it looks still very crowded. And this one when you were presenting, I was laughing because I turned, you see how I turned to read it because I wanted to get the names of the country. So I had to bend my head like this to read it. You understand? So that becomes
I do.
challenge. So you need to find a way. I know the struggle you have here. That is the struggle every one of us, especially when you have so much data to present. So, but otherwise, I think your presentation. And I have to say this. I have to say this before I go. Group 4 is not. It's not to embarrass you. I'm very proud of Group 4. I'm very proud. I'm proud of all the groups. But Group 4 was the group that called me today that they needed attention, encouragement, and I went there and I spoke. I spent about 20 minutes with Group 4, and we are struggling with these things. We're struggling with this, and I told them, you have to get on and come up and make a presentation that will outclass everybody. And they are going that trajectory. Group 4, you have to give yourself a thumbs up and give yourself a big clap, really, because
thank you.
Now you took that spirit and you work together and you can see what it's producing. Really. The other thing I want to say is that, what you have presented here now is something that not everybody knows about, everybody in Africa. We have been shouting about it in ASFI, but we need increased voice. So go to your institutions, show them this data you have here. Something is happening. We are not doing well, but we have a forum. ASFI has come to give us a window of opportunity to enhance our skills in a way that we can improve in what we are doing. All right, so thanks very much, Group 4. I will stop here and let us have 5 minutes break. Let's stretch our legs, our hands, and take some water, and then come back and continue with group 5.
Hello, can you break us into our group? Is it possible? Just
goodness me, Olabisi. You don't want this course. You don't want this. You don't want this course to end, Olabisi.
2 minutes, Bright.
Hey, goodness me. I can do that. So, but I have to call you back once it's 5 minutes.
Please do. Thank you.
Prof, I suggest that the best way for us to put this content to the world is to allow us publish these discussions.
Go ahead and do that. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's freely available data. So publish it in an African journal. Don't send it outside because that is where it will be read.
Okay, all right.
So which groups are meeting? Group 5? Okay, group 5 meeting.
Okay, welcome once again. Can we start from here?
Right, can we start? I don't think Bright is with us next. Just leave your first slide on.
Okay.
Please go on. Please go on.
Afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the next section. This is ASFI Project 5. Our topic is contribution of income and region on women participation in national parliaments. It's an abstract. Women parliamentarian in an important factor on the indicator of gender equality and sustainable development, but gender parity is yet to be achieved. However, while other countries of the world have performed better in terms of women participation in the parliament, Africa has lagged behind. Based on this, the study examined the global trend in proportion of seats for women parliamentarians from 2000 to 2020 and the contribution of income group as well as identify how Africa has fared compared to the rest of the world. Here, secondary data was analyzed using Arrow software, tools such as univariate trend analysis, pairwise comparison of mean participation between regions, and with t-test and one way ANOVA were all conducted at alpha level 5%. Our results showed that there was minimal increase in the proportion of parliamentary seats held by women across nations over the 20 years study period. Apart from Rwanda, which is the world leader in terms of women participation in the parliament, African countries have less than 5% female representation in the parliament. Rwanda and Sao Tome and Principe had the highest and lowest female parliamentarian representation in parliament in Africa, respectively. This shows that gender disparity in parliamentary representation still persists across different countries in the world. Globally, gender disparity
Uche, you're not muted. Don't.
Your network.
Uche, unmute yourself. Yeah.
Seriously? I didn't know.
Yeah, it said globally. Continue from there.
Okay, it's fine.
We hear you. Where are you now?
A significant decline in the representation of women in the parliament across the globe. Between 1995 and 2020, some countries have performed better, but in Africa, there has been a decline in women representation in the parliament. As reported by Zapora Musa in 2019, Rwanda, Namibia, South Africa, and Senegal have fared well, while countries such as Morocco, Nigeria, Mauritius, and Sudan have lagged behind. Therefore, it becomes imperative to highlight the trend and gaps in parliamentary gender disparity. Hence, our study aims to highlight the trend in the proportion of seats held by women in national parliament across the world region and the contribution of income group, and identify how African continent fared compared to other world regions, and also identify African countries with the highest and lowest proportion of women in the parliament. It's not moving. Okay. Sorry. Method. Secondary data from interparliamentary union was retrieved for analysis, and our data was analyzed using Arrow 4.03 software. One way and two way ANOVA was performed to determine the dependence of proportion of women in parliament on regions and income groups. Student t-test was used to perform pairwise comparison between regions, income group in the world and Africa. Our result. First, the figure 1 shows the number of countries captured across the regions. As you can see here, Europe and Central Africa had about 58 countries were represented, while countries such as North America had about just 3 countries that were represented in our study. We got to show the trend across regions with the number of women in parliament. As you can see in figure 2B, countries such as Rwanda has the highest number of women in parliament, while countries such as United Arab Emirates had the lowest number of women in parliament. Figure 3A shows the trend across region where low number of women are in parliament. Countries such as Sao Tome and Principe, Morocco had the lowest number of women in the parliament. African countries with top number of women in the parliament, as you can see also, Rwanda happens to be the highest or gave the highest number of women in the parliament. As between 2000 and 2006, there was steady, there was linear progression in the number of women in the parliament, which increased after 2007, then about 2008. There was also a decline, and this also there was an elevation in the number of women in the parliament continued until between 2016 to about 2017. There was decline and a steady linear progression in the number of women in the parliament. Other countries like Namibia, Rwanda, Senegal, Seychelles, and South Africa also had a number of women, higher number of women in the parliament. But in African countries with the least of women in the parliament, we can see here countries such as Chad, Comoros, Kenya, Nigeria, Niger, Sao Tome and Principe had the lowest number of women in the parliament. Also, we try to compare the relation, find out what's the relation between percentage of women in the parliament and their region. We can see that East and East Asia and Pacific, there was a significant difference at P level less than 0.05. Europe and Central Africa, they also showed significant difference in the number of parliament. Also, we can see the significant difference in Latin America and Caribbean, but in Africa, there was no significant difference, which shows that because of the increase, the outlier that was found in those countries that have the highest number of women in the parliament, like in Rwanda, the number of women in parliament was very high. In terms of income group, we also show that income influenced the percentage of women in the parliament. So you can see also in those with high income, there was significant difference, while those in lower income group also show significant difference. But group as low income here affected the number of women in the, which shows that the number, as income increases, the number of women that participate in the parliament also tends to increase. Income group also influence percentage of women in Africa. High income group tends to also participate in political participation in Africa, while those with low income did not also show lower number of women in the parliament. Based on our result, we show that the percentage of women in national parliament across the world between 2020 and 2020 varies significantly across the region of the world, except in Africa, where a non-significant relationship was observed. The proportion of women in the national parliament in Africa varies significantly. Countries such as Rwanda, South Africa, Namibia, Senegal, Seychelles, and Mozambique have the highest women representation in parliament, while countries such as Niger, Gambia, Chad, Comoros, Sao Tome and Principe, Nigeria, and others have the lowest number of women in the parliament. This variation is dependent on income group. The higher the income group, the higher the number of women in the parliament. This observation is also in line with the work of Castillo et al., who observed that income inequality has an enormous impact on the involvement of women in politics and their participation in national or local parliament. In conclusion, taken together, we have shown that the proportion of women in parliament in Africa varies significantly with region. Income and region also influence the number of women in the parliament, and we also perceive an interaction between income group and region, which can also promote the proportion of women in the parliament. However, we recommend that political education should be done in this region to also influence the number of women in the parliament. A women representative council should be formed in all kinds of government. The quota system, as recommended by the GDP or the Sustainable Development Goal, giving about 30% of women in the parliament. An economic policy in favor of women should be also in the marketplace should also be enhanced. These are our references. I want to thank Professor Bright Nwaro and Dr. Emma Sabu for this privilege, and also thank the group members for their respective contributions. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, Group 5. Yeah, the escape you went to your group looks like you did the magic there for you now. Olabisi was quite smart there, isn't it? Okay, now, yeah, who's speaking?
I appreciated you for saying that I was smart. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, you accept that. All right, any comment from anyone for Group 5? All right, I think okay, Bira, go first.
Thank you, Group 5, for your presentation. You had a good analysis, but I heard you talk of using a t-test, and I've not seen the results showing a t-test unless it crossed my eyes.
That was meant to be in our supplementary tables. That we thought it maybe not too easy to show them in this slide. But we had a lot of tables in our main work to explain that.
Okay.
Okay. Nuha? Nuha, you can speak. You're muted.
Yeah, sorry. My question to group 5, how much the data missing contributed to the result?
Please, can you repeat your question, please?
So how much missing data did you have, and how did that contribute to your results?
I think Olaika should help here, please. The analyzer.
Well, thank you. Now, in terms of when you come to the regions, like Professor, because that was part of what I read before, Professor Bright has said, the people that collect the data, the way they grouped the regions, that was affected. Now, North Africa was grouped with Middle East, and there were some countries. When we look at the region, in terms of regionalization now, some countries were not categorized into any regions. So all those countries that were not categorized into any region were like missing data when it comes to region. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying, please. For example, they talk about Arab words. Any Arab words now, there is no region you want to give to them. That is not me. That is how the data was sent, the primary data. So all those ones that were not categorized to any region, they are definitely missing out in terms of analysis on the region. But when we come to Africa now, all the countries, there was nothing like missing data in Africa, except for the Northern African countries that were grouped with the Middle East. I hope that answers your question.
Let me also lend another information. That is one of the issues we may sometimes have with secondary data, especially data that are collected without a prospective plan to collect them, and we use them secondarily. So sometimes you may indeed have missing data, and then you would have to account for the outliers. So we indeed acknowledge that in missing data, that might be one of the limitations. Thank you, Anova.
Yeah. And I think that is an issue that cuts across all the groups, the missing data. So it's something that you need to acknowledge there. I think that is the point Nuha was trying to make. So when you make your discussion, you can outline this point, as I've mentioned previously to other groups. But otherwise, I think one of the things, if you are planning to publish this anywhere, for instance, your methods here, you need to actually highlight that this data you have used is coming from the World Bank secondary data, World Bank data repository. You need to do that. Okay.
Sorry, Professor Bright.
Yes.
I think this is from the IPU.
No, it's still World Bank. It's still World Bank.
It's World Bank. It's World Bank.
World Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, we will do that.
So that means it was missed out in the metadata. Because in the metadata, it was not referred to like that. So that was why the referencing was like National Parliamentary Union.
Okay, no problem. Even if it comes from there, the point here is that you should have to indicate where. Don't just say secondary data on women parliamentarians.
It did that.
That's what is on the abstract here. What I'm seeing on the front here.
We understand, right? We would identify that.
Yeah. So you take care of that and ensure that you have. But I think I'm really encouraged that the 5 minutes you use paid off in many aspects. All right, let's go to group 6.
Thank you.
Group 6, am I presenting for you? I'm sure if, okay, just a minute, I will show that. Over to you, group 6. Just let me know what you want me to do.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks so much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to present the project of Group 6, which the title is a study to determine access to electricity across the globe, 2009-2019. How has African countries weathered? Next slide, please. So here we have the team members. Next. Next slide. Oh, next slide, please.
You have your
Okay,
abstract
okay.
here. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. Now
it looks like
abstract.
it's slow to appear on your side.
Okay, yeah. It's due to my internet here.
Okay.
The provisions of reliable security and affordable energy service are central to addressing many of today's global development challenge, including poverty, inequality, climate change, food security, health, and education. Electricity or energy is this millennium, no doubt, is a necessity taught across the globe. However, it's not adequately distributed. The aim of this study was to determine duration required in days to get the electricity within different countries across the globe. The data were extracted from WHO dataset of 2009 to 2019. Secondary data analysis was conducted. Results were presented in the forms of graph and description. Africa led behind with Liberia, requiring longest days of getting electricity. However, Rwanda was found to be the country with the lowest day of getting electricity. As a conclusion, we say that leaders across Africa continent needs to develop infrastructure to facilitate the rapid distributions of electricity. Next slide, please. Yeah, it's moving slowly. Improving access to electricity is a global challenge that, if addressed, can help to reduce poverty and inequalities in health outcomes and education's attainments. The lack of availability of electricity is often associated with poverty and human economic progress. Next one. Next. Next.
I am on the page where I have continuous. Do you want me to pass that page?
Yes. Householding level access to electricity is strongly associated with socioeconomic status and any important indicators of economic development. So improving access to electricity is a global challenge that, if addressed, can help to reduce poverty and inequality in health outcomes and education attainment. The higher cost of delivering electricity from centralized energy systems requires large investments in establishing transmission and distribution grids that can penetrate remote regions. Therefore, the present studies aim to examine the number of days to distribute electricity in different countries across the globe, with emphasis on African countries. Next. Next, please. This was a secondary data analysis of WHO data set on the number of days required to get electricity across the globe from 2009 to 2019. Descriptive analyses were conducted and results were shared in a graphical representation. Next. Next, please. A total of 266 countries were involved, comprising of countries across the globe. No value was recorded from some 22 countries. 9 days was the minimum to get energy, while 514 days was the maximum within the median of the countries across the world, being 95.21, 95.21, with the standard deviation was 27. Country requiring maximum number of days was Liberia, while the country with minimum number of days was Liechtenstein. While mean value for other country was 88.87, with standard deviation of 42.46, within minimum being 90 and maximum being 277 days. Furthermore, comparing with other countries of the world, Africa countries require more days, with Liberia being the highest. Mean value for Africa was 109.45, with standard deviations of 82.55, within minimum being 33, while maximum being 514 days. Next slide, please. Next, please. Next, please. In the figure 1, we have the use of getting electricity across the world. We have in horizontal age, the countries, and the vertical ones, the number of days required. As we can see here, the minimum one, we can see the minimum and also the maximum, as I explained it before. Next, please. In the graph number 2, we have the number of days required for getting electricity across the African countries. Again, here we have in the horizontal age, we have countries, and the vertical ones, the number of days. And we can see that we have the minimum days here and the maximum days required, which was 514. Next slide, please. We don't have a discussion, is to be completed. Next. As a conclusion, we can say that there is a great disparity in the days to obtain electricity between different countries. Leaders across Africa continent need to develop infrastructure to facilitate the rapid distribution of electricity. Next. Next, please. Here we have a reference. Next one. And our last slide is acknowledgement. We want to thank you for ASFI program to Professor Bright and his team to all participants of the program and also for the group 6 team members, particularly our group coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you, group member. You've made us proud. We are grateful.
All right, this group 6, thank you for the presentation. Any comments from or question from anyone? Any comment, question, please just indicate and I will call you up. Yeah, I have Nuha.
So the same question for the previous group. How much the missing data contributed to the result? Are they happy with their analysis, or the missing data affected the result? I'm bringing this question because I'm angry why there is no missing data. Who is running this surveys, and where is the data? Thank you.
Yeah, Alice, do you want to respond?
I think this question was is the same as last group. The answer is the same.
So
also. Yes,
answer the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have Uzima.
Thank you, Professor. Mine is just a comment. I think from the observation that I've seen so far from the presentations, I think we definitely need that lecture on how to make presentations and how to organize our slides.
Great. That means you're not leaving ASFI soon.
No.
Great.
We're in this together. Thank you.
Good. All right, I have Olayinka. Olayinka, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Professor Bright. Well, the person that spoke before, the last question that was raised on missing data, I wouldn't know what she's maybe raising. Is it that there cannot be an analysis without a missing data, or that these people did not mention how they treated missing data, or what specifically was she really talking about? But because it seems it's not after whether the way the data was collected. It seems that not to be a question. I don't really get what she's saying about missing data.
Okay, Nuha, do you want to respond? What is your concern?
Actually, I couldn't hear him very well.
Yeah, he said he said Yinka, you were far away, but I think what I understood, he said he wants to know why you are interested in the missing data. Are you interested in the way it has been carried out in the analysis, or you are interested in the way it has been missing from the source of the surveys?
Exactly, yeah. Is there any survey being done and there is data, or there is no data at all? I mean, there is no, the data is hidden, or why it's not available?
Yeah. So, Nuha, we here in this class cannot give you that answer. Perhaps we will give you that task to help us find out, because you also analyze from the same source. So you can find out why some data missing. For instance, the data we had before about Kenya, Marion was asking, it was missing. No data. Is it that Kenya is not contributing, or what? So, Nuha, do you want to take the challenge?
To find out the data?
Why the data is missing. Well, I'm just joking, because you can't. But yeah, I think that is an important question. That is an important question which we can provide answer here. But you know that the world is a political space. A lot of things happen there. Stories. People tell stories in the way that suits them, and try to do all kinds of things there. Anyway, our goal in this class is to learn how to write as scientists. So whether the data is missing or not, we are trying to develop skills that will make us do.
I understand.
All right. Let's go to group 7, isn't it? We're almost there. Yeah. Before we go to group 7, let me just make some comment here. Now, this one to the group 6. You say the number of days required for getting electricity across African countries. See, what I only see on this graph is lines. Then I see an interpretation of the line. It says series 1, and then I saw numbers. I don't know what the vertical this thing means and the horizontal axis. I don't know what they mean. Where are the African countries you mentioned there is not shown. So in your report, please note this, because I know that there was lots of hurry to get things done here, but you have to show a graph that is clear for everyone. The use of getting electricity across the globe, I don't know what the numbers mean as well, but the figure legend is something I couldn't figure out. When you said the use of getting, is it the number of days of getting electricity across the globe? And so the vertical line and the horizontal line, I don't know what you have there. So please let your figures, let your tables, let your graphics be self-explanatory, because when somebody is reading it, you are not there. You can't say, well, this is what I actually meant. No, don't wait to be asked, what do you mean? Let the person get the message from your figures, your graphics, and your tables. Okay? It's not for you to respond,
okay,
but
thank you.
Yeah, so you have to just know that. Let's go to group 7. Group 7, you sent your presentation. Let me open that for you. Okay, go ahead, please, group 7.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to present in behalf of group 7. Do you hear me?
We hear you
Hello?
clearly. We hear you clearly. Go ahead. We hear you clearly.
Okay. Our topic is about the life expectancy at birth, sorry. And this is our group members. Next, please.
Okay, Sahai, it looks like it's also slow to get your place. Go ahead.
To the abstract. Life. Okay. The life expectancy is the main factor that measures the global population health in a broad way. Compared to the metric of child mortality, which focus on the mortality at birth or young age. The objectives of this study were to compare and contrast the trend of life expectancy at birth between African continent and the other world region between 2000 and 2019, and also to identify the African countries that have fast population growth and which country have the slow growth rate. In the methodology, we extract the data from the World Bank metadata on life expectancy from 2000 to 2019. And for the data analysis, we create the chart using Excel and Microsoft Power BI. The region with the highest life expectancy was North American region with 80 years at life expectancy, where the African countries or the African region had the lowest life expectancy with 58 years. Across the African countries, Algeria had the highest life expectancy at birth in Africa with 77 years, followed by Tunis, Mauritius, and Morocco. While the Central African Republic registered the lowest average at 53 years. In conclusion, the conflict, displacement, and poor health system, in addition to economic downturn, have greatly contributed to the low life
Saha, is she there? Saha, we are not hearing you. Does someone from group 7 want to continue from there? Who can? Yeah, she has dropped. Can someone continue from there, from group 7?
Sorry, it seems I've been out.
All right, Saha, you continue. You want to continue or what?
Prof. Narwa, do you hear me?
We hear you. We hear you. Go ahead. I think Saha is having internet problems. Can someone continue for her? Uzima, Kellen, who again is in group 7? Amanda?
Prof, do you hear me?
We hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
I have a
Saha.
connection.
Yeah, I see that.
Please.
Joel, all of you are in group 7. Kellen is there. Who wants to help Saha to finish this up? You want me to present it for you? Uzima, do you want to continue from here? Because we need to get this through. Okay, let
me continue.
All right.
So life expectancy is the main factor that measures the general population health in a broad way compared to the metric of child mortality, which focuses on mortality at birth or age. And this is one of the frequent indicators that is for the SDG number 3, which looks at promoting the well-being of everybody. Life expectancy, of course, is defined by factors such as per capita income, the population, the level of education of that particular population, the environment where they're living, and also the availability of social protection, right? Life expectancy generally has increased over the years, and this will be shown later on in our presentation. So basically, our study was looking at the World Bank metadata on life expectancy, and we did try to compare and contrast the trends of life expectancy across countries in the world, countries in Africa, and also compared amongst countries in Africa. Next slide, please. So our objectives, one is to compare and contrast the trends in life expectancy at birth across world regions between the years 2000 and 2019. Secondly, to compare how African countries fared in comparison to the world. And thirdly, to identify amongst African countries, which countries have got the highest growth rates and which countries have got the lowest growth rates. Next slide. So in terms of methodology, so we used data from the World Bank metadata on life expectancy between the years 2000 and 2019, as mentioned earlier. So to achieve this goal, we analyzed the data that was given to us using Excel and Microsoft Power BI. We also did a cluster analysis of the distribution of life expectancy across the different countries analyzed. Next slide. So this is the first graph looking at the results. So this is looking at the life expectancy at birth by world regions. And from this graph, you could see that actually North America is leading, followed by Europe and Central Asia, down up to Sub-Saharan Africa. And the highest life expectancy was age of 80 in North America, and the lowest was 58 years in Sub-Saharan Africa. So you can see that Africa really is not doing well in terms of life expectancy. Next slide. So in terms of the countries within the African continent, you can see from this graph that Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco are leading in terms of the life expectancy, with expected life expectancy at the age of 77, whereas the Central African Republic is the least with the average life expectancy at the age of 53. And there are various factors which contribute to these discrepancies in terms of life expectancy. Next slide. So in our discussion, we noted that generally speaking, from the year 2000 up to 2019, the world has seen an increase in the life expectancy, right? Countries with the highest life expectancy include Hong Kong, Singapore, and China. And this has been attributed to the high expenditure that these countries spend in terms of healthcare and the increased per capita income. In addition, countries, particularly in Africa, have also seen a greatest increase in life expectancy, though in compared to the rest of the world, Africa is still lagging. The improvements in the life expectancy in Africa has been attributed to major improvements in terms of child survival, progress made in the control of the malaria, across the continent, and the expanded access to readily available antiretroviral therapy for treatment of patients with HIV. Next slide. As mentioned earlier, so Sub-Saharan Africa still lags behind in terms of life expectancy. And we've seen from the graphs that the countries with the highest life expectancy in Africa include Tunisia, Algeria, Mauritius, and Morocco. And these countries in Africa have got a high per capita income, have got a high expenditure in terms of health care provision, and are generally stable as compared to the Central African Republic. Next slide. So as mentioned, the Central African Republic has registered the lowest average life expectancy at the age of 53. And this could be attributed to challenges such as the conflict going on in the country, leading to displacement of people, poor health infrastructure and poor investment in the health system, and the challenges with regards to the economy. And this has greatly contributed to the low life expectancy in this country. Next slide. These are the references for from our group. Next slide. Great. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much. Group number 7. Any comments? Questions? Yeah, Bira.
Oh, thank you, Group 7, for your presentation. You've really alerted us that we have a low life expectancy in Africa. I'm much concerned about the discussion. Normally, the discussion is all about your results in relation to the previous findings, but you are not showing us whether your results are in line with the previous findings or in contrast with previous findings. Thank you.
Okay. Any response from group 7?
Can I take over from there, Dr. Zima? Yeah, thanks a lot for your inquiry. You know, the biggest challenge we have ever had when we had this assignment was that it only gave us a limited data and limited time. So with limited time, we didn't get information that we want to analyze life expectancy. Just as all of you will know, that life expectancy is dependent on several factors. 1, income. 2, per capita expenditure on health. 3, nutritional factors. 4, educational level. 5, you can say
Okay, Joel, I think you are dropped out, but I think what Beta wanted to know was how you compared your distance to previous literature. I think that is what you can improve when you're writing the paper, and I hope you are already planning to do that, to compare what you have found to other studies, previous studies. Okay, any other thing? All right, I think there is also an improvement as we move on, improvement from the groups, what is happening here. So your graphs were good. I think they were clear enough to understand what you're showing there. And I think apart from the point Bira made, I think you're on the right track. So please see how you can improve those sections. And the issue of missing data too, if you can highlight that so that readers know how much data we actually available for you. All right, let's go to group 8, the final group. Group 8, I guess you're showing yourself because I don't have your slide here.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, but you're showing. Okay, great. We see.
Is that okay?
Yeah, great.
All right. Thank you. And sorry, let me first. All right. So our topic is trends in world population growth between 2000 and 2020. How does Africa compare to the rest of the world? Our group is group 8, and those are the good members that have done this job. So the abstract, so population growth has a direct impact on any country's development. So depending on how you look at it, whether it will contribute to the market base or the labor base, or it will just increase the risk on on the environment. Policymakers can look at the population growth at different using different directions. But as you know, there are different variations in these populations across the globe. So our objective was to describe these trends in population growth across the world, and special focus on Africa. And the methods that we use a retrospective study from 2020. Data was gotten from World Bank repository, and we use our version 4.1.1 to do analysis. So we calculated population percent changes to show the increase or decrease in population growth, and the trends were shown graphically using line graphs and dumbbells. We used other packages, ggplot2, highchart, and ggGALT. And our results showed that from 2000 to 2020, Africa had an average reduction in annual population growth of 0.01. and it was followed by East Asia and Pacific. And North America had, East Asia and Pacific and North America had the same reduction in population growth of 0.03. Latin America and Caribbean had 0.04, South Asia had 0.05, East Asia 0.06. So while East Europe and Central Asia had an increase between 2000 and 2020. So the top fastest growing countries in Africa were Central Africa, Republic, Libya, Botswana, and Eswatini. All the slowest countries, the slowest 5, were Mauritius, Lesotho, Seychelles, Gabon, and South Sudan. So conclusion, so all regions comparing 2000 and 2020 had a reduction in population growth. And so these differences can be accounted to many different reasons. So introduction, I think I can skip this. So this to describe the data sets that we got from World Bank. So there were regions and countries of the world, and the data was expressed in terms of annual percentages from 2000 to 2020. Data was analyzed using R, and calculated those relative changes between using the 5-year duration. So we got we split our data into 2000, 2005, 2005, 2010, 2010, 2015, 2015, 2020, and these trends were shown graphically. So our table 1, so this is what we aggregated across the different regions of the world. So on your left is just table 1 that shows the annual percentage population growth in the regions from 2000 to 2020. And on your right is just a graph that shows these increases across these regions. So you see Sub-Saharan Africa has the highest population, and the distribution, you can see it is in blue. In blue across from 2000 to 2020. So we calculated the changes. So we split our data between 2000. We first did 2000 and 2020, then 2015, 2020, 2010, 2015, 2015, 2010, this is 10, then 2000, 2005. So you can see East Asia, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, and North Africa, then North America, South Asia, and Sub-Saharan Africa. So in between 2000 and 2005, East Asia and Pacific had a reduction in population of 0.2. It's only Europe and Central Asia that had an increase during that period. Then when you go to 2015, 2010, from 2010 to 2015, almost all regions had a decrease in population. Then we looked at Africa versus the rest of the regions. So this table shows you these changes, and then we got the average across these time periods. So Africa still remains at the top, has the highest population, but regarding the increase and decrease, so from 2000 to 2005, you can see Africa really had a drop, and Middle East had an increase in population. Then East Asia and Pacific had a drop. Then, so when you just go to the last period, 2015, 2020, you can really see that Africa dropped. Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so so Africa dropped and other regions. So it's only North America that has slightly constant increase. The drop is not that huge, but you can see when you look at Middle East between 2010 and 2015 had a sharp drop in population. Now, so this was hard to demonstrate looking at African countries and see how the population changed. So this is called a dumbbell. It just shows 2 time points. So if you get 2000 and 2020, we just wanted to see how the population changed. So in red shows you the starting point of 2000, and in blue it is the ending point, which is 2020. So if we just look at the first one, Zimbabwe, so it had like almost 0.01, then it increased. But there are countries that really started on a high and dropped. So one of them is Rwanda. So if you can just see Rwanda, it's the red dot is on the right. Then it went by 2020, it decreased. Also, like if you just look at Mauritius, so it began here in 2000, but by 2020 it just dropped, kind of decreased. So we also looked at the fast growing countries in Africa and the slowest growing countries. So the first 5, Botswana, Central Africa, Eswatini, Guinea, and Libya. So you can see Guinea from 2005 to 2020 really had an increase in population. Then Botswana had a decrease. Then by 2015, 2020, it really increased. So most of these fast-growing countries by 2015, between 2015 and 2020, they really had an increase in their population. Then the slowest are Gabon, Lesotho, Mauritius, Seychelles, and South Sudan. So you can see between 2000 and 2005, they were Lesotho was dropping, Seychelles was dropping, Mauritius was dropping. It's only Gabon that was was increasing, and South Sudan was on a steady progress. Then by 2010 and 2015, South Sudan really went down, as the figure shows. Now, the discussion and conclusion, as we conclude, so our study showed that the fast growing regions of the world were Europe and Central Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. In the slowest were East Asia and Pacific, then Latin America and Caribbean, Middle East and North Africa, North America and South Asia. Then these were the fast growing and versus the slowest growing countries in Africa. So the limitation, we didn't have data for Eritrea from 2012, 2015. And so as a future consideration, more studies can be conducted to look at the causes or factors that are leading to these changes in population growth across the regions of the world and also in Africa. Those are our selected references. We cannot live without acknowledging the indomitable ASFI team led by Professor Bright and Dr. Eman, then the lovely participants of this course, then the World Bank for giving us free data. But what I can say is a Merry Christmas to all of you. See you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Group 8 and other presenters. Does anyone have any point to raise for Group 8? Yes, I have Bira and Nuha.
Yes, please, Mubiru, take us to table 2. I have a question on table 2.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Please kindly clarify to me the logic you used when you were classifying the years, because I see some are ranging from 2000 to 2020, and some from 2015 to 2020, especially this first one, the first column.
Thank you. Thank you, Bira. So the first column, yes, we just looked at the beginning of our study year, which was 2000, and the end. Just look at the population that was in 2000 and 2020, and we got the difference, the relative difference, just getting what was in 2020, just subtract that population that was in 2000, then divide by the population that was in 2000. Then, so this just to give you a general view of how the regions are doing. Then we went, we used the 5-year period, so 2015, 2020, 2010, 2015. So this was supposed to be 2010, 2000, it was a typing error, 2010, 2005, then 2000, 2005, as you see this this graph. So this what is presented in this table are relative differences. Some can call them percentage changes in between those two time periods. Then the average of all these to just get a feel of how, whether between 2000 and 2020, what was the average increase or decrease across the different regions of the world.
Okay, then those years need to be corrected, especially 2015 and 2000, the fourth column. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's good. Spot on, Bira, to notice that. So group 8. So try to get that right in your report. Okay, Nuha, and then Olayinka.
Yeah, hello, thank you. Besides Bira's point, I have another point. The way he presented, or the group presented their discussion and conclusion. I don't know what is this framework or frame for presenting discussion. If yeah, that one. The other question is, you mentioned that you have used R software for the analysis. Can you please just explain how you use that and how this software, the powerful of this software to do this analysis? Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nuha. So for analysis, we used R, and R is a software, is a free software that like almost every researcher is now using. It's at the top. So I recently learned it's better than SAS and Stata, but that's a discussion for another day. But now we got an Excel sheet from World Bank, or from what Professor Bright shared. Then we just aggregated these results and also calculated the differerences in R. Now even the graphs we used R to draw these graphs using the ggplot tool package and other packages, ggalt and high chart to draw these graphs. Then with the presentation of the discussion, yeah, I accept time was not enough, so that's what we tried to put together. But in our main document, we are going to do it better.
Okay, Olayinka, then we can try to finish up.
R. It's interesting you use R. You know, in this page, you talk about data availability and all the rest, and with the use of GitHub. So, like in our own now, though they didn't mention it there, which I stated, data availability.
You seem to be away from your mic. Can you come closer, please?
Yinka, you're far away from your.
On the GitHub, like mine now, both the raw data and the R scripts is on a particular, on the GitHub repository. So I just want to advise also that you also can deposit it there when eventually you use anything like that, so that even the reviewer or any person can access your raw data and the scripts in that was used to analyze that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Actually, we use R Markdown in our script, so it's what we are going to share. We can share it on GitHub or other platforms, but so for reproducibility, we use the R Markdown to write these scripts and also the graphs. Thank you.
All right, I think we can end the presentations here, and I have a question before I go to my conclusion. I have a question for all the groups. Anyone can answer from the groups. You can see the task we have done this week. It's scientific writing, okay? And I have given you this humongous project of data from the World Bank, the repository, to practice what we have learned. How did you feel with this exercise? I mean, this project you have presented now. How did you feel with regards to that helping you to learn what we have been practicing in this course? How did this project help you? Any quick one? Okay, I have Hamidu.
Thank you very much. Since I'm from the humanities, but science is universal, this course has repositioned my way of
no, I don't want you to evaluate the course. I will come to that. I mean, this project presented now, how did it help your learning process?
The project presented now shows enable me to understand the diversity of approaches, but then leading to the same thing, leading to the act of scientific writing. All the different experiments with data and the rest of them shows that at the end of the day, if you don't follow the scientific method, you are going to miss certain details, and then your reader will not understand. So it gives me the opportunity to understand that I have to follow the details, and then at the same time be very simple for my readers to understand me.
Okay. I'm asking that question because during the presentation, it was only group 4 presented by Stella that I saw passion and anger. And that is resulting from the fact that she's presenting this thing that is really telling her that she's not doing well. Our continent is not doing well. That was my intention, to really allow us to have it. Of course, we know all these things, we know them, we hear them, we see them, we read about them. But for you to dig deep to really understand where you are, I think it makes a huge difference, isn't it? All right, Patience, you want to say something?
Yes, for me at first, when I saw the data, to be very honest, I was confused. I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was a mistake at first. But then when I joined the group and our group members did a great work, it availed me an opportunity to learn how we can work on data that seems unorganized to make it translated to something that can be used to make policy decisions. And like you said, it also helped me to see the great work ahead that we have in Africa. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Thanks very much. Okay, so that is quite, that message is quite passed through. So those who plan to publish this, I mean, this freely available data, you can do that if you think that is quite interesting enough. Yeah. Lastly, I can take from Luca, and then I will go for conclusion.
Okay, sir. I don't mind. It's a general question, but one is specifically to you. I don't know whether I can ask that at this point, please.
You want to ask me?
Yes, a question, please.
Is it in relation to
the general about the general course that we are coming to the end of it now?
Yeah, I will give you time for that. I will give you time for that. Not
okay, so that's okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so those who didn't come in the morning, those who are just joining, this was where we started in the morning today. Okay, so just take a few seconds to look at this quickly, before we leave. And it's good to take this message along as you go from this week. It has been a fantastic week, a busy week, but I think I made a promise for you at the beginning that it will be a week you will remember, and I hope it is that week. But what is life? What is life? All right, some of you are yet to fill the evaluation form. Please do that. I have also invited those to provide a video evaluation. Please reply me before Monday on whether you are interested in doing that or not. And then you have up to next week, Friday, to send that to me. Okay, so this is our journey this week. Okay, this is our journey pictorially. We defined what scientific writing is. We discussed why scientific writing is important for us as scientists. We went into the debate of the key thing that happens all over the world: publish or perish. If you don't publish, then you're gone. Okay, what does that mean? What is the implication of that for our scientific career? And then we discussed the scientific writing process, discuss the structures, discuss the things you need to look at for. Went from the introduction part to the methods part, discuss the results, discuss the conclusion, the structures, the take. Then, of course, we discuss what you need to do with regards to your abstract. So this is a journey we have taken. Perhaps you started with it, you said, in 2 days we should finish this course. But the evaluation I've gotten, some of you are saying that 1 week of 6 hours, in fact, some of you, we are working over the night, as you said. 1 week of, let's say, what do I say now? 10 hours every day was not enough for you to carry this course. Well, unfortunately, ASFI will try to keep it within 1 week, because it's not easy to organize 2 weeks full-time course like this. All right, I started with this, telling you why we are here as an organization. No meaningful societal development without science. And you can see it from the presentations you have made, whether it is the level of publication Africa is contributing to the world, or our life expectancy, or electricity, or road accident that leads to death. All are centered on science, innovation, development, research. That is why we're here, to improve society, to make our society a better place. Can you imagine, in this country I live, it's a madman. They don't have many of them here anyway. It's only a madman who will think of going to rob a bank. How will he even rob the bank? You see, since I came here, I remember the few months I came here was when I handled cash. This is a cashless society, for instance. Cashless society. My daughter, you give her money, and I can't even know they have the currency, but I can't even know the color of the currency because I don't see it. I don't handle it. I don't see it. People have developed. So only a madman will want to go and rob a bank. Well, what will you rob? Because there's no money anywhere to rob. But there is money in the society. The bank has money, but you can't see the money. Okay? That is innovation and development. But for this to happen, there must be a thriving science. And science can only thrive if the scientists are competent enough. They have the capacity and they have the knowledge base and the skills that are current of the time, not a cake. You may have the skills and knowledge, but it's outdated. Time has taken it out. And so before you can meet up, generation has moved on. Generation has moved on. That is why ASFI is here. Because without value-oriented scientific research, well-intentioned, with vision to solve problems, no nation can be built. It is either you take it or you leave it. You may say, oh, Bright is the one quoting this, or I wouldn't take it. But you can't run away from it. If you don't take it from me, you will meet it anywhere you go, because that is the truth. Go all over the world. Coronavirus came, for instance, in this country. The government went to universities, assembled scientists. What do we do? In our countries in Africa, when it happened, the government went around and assembled the politicians. What do we do? And they begin to talk about constituency project. Let's get the money. Scientists, where are you? Our nations, from all the presentations you have made here, are behind. Where are you? What is your contribution? Do you have the capacity to make your voice heard? Or do we continue to leave it in the hands of those that have little or no role? The politicians in this country rely on the scientists, the evidence, to make any change. So you can't wave ASFI's vision aside, because it is timely, it's intentional, it is relevant, and that is what we need to raise the next generation of African scientists who have the right competencies to drive Africa's developmental and transformational agenda through innovative scientific research. That is why we're here. That is our goal. That is what we want to achieve. It does not matter how you feel about it. You can see it in your own eyes. You can see it when you go through a course like this week. Goodness me. Somebody wrote the other day, I am angry. I am just angry. Why is the person angry? Because you have been denied what you need to know for ages. You don't have some of the stuff we speak here. Some said they have not even heard about it before. And you're a scientist, you carry your bag, you have your car. You may even have a poster written on your car. It was a contemporary scientist. And then you come to a course like this and you're fired up. I am really angry. We need to be angry. We need to be angry like Stella and other people here. Because Kevin discussed about population growth. You know, the way he was discussing it, it looked like positive growth, population growth is a good thing. But Africa is frightening. Because if your population is growing in Africa in the year 2000, goodness me, who is that? 2100, Africa is going to overtake all regions of the world in terms of population. It's frightening, because if you have such population and you don't have the infrastructure to take care of them, it's a time bomb, really heavy time bomb. So we need to set the standard now. So we want to instill excellence, and that message is clear to anyone who attends what we are doing. We want to instill excellence through competence acquisition, capacity building, and career development. That is what we want to do. We want to contribute to Africa's science that tackles Africa's developmental challenges. That is what we want to do, so that you can be proficient in your career areas and be able to deliver, not because of what goes to the pocket or your career development, but because if the society is happy, you are happy. And then the other accolades, promotion, career development will naturally come. You don't need to fight for them. They will come. Because society is not stupid. The custodians of what we do, they are not stupid. they know how to reward those who work for them. All right, so we'll have seminars and workshops to achieve what we have planned. We'll have this hands-on courses we'll have mentoring programs. We have announced that, and Eman is collecting the names. If you want to continue to instill this, let's continue this discussion. Our goal is that we will form an army of those who will transform, whose voices will no longer be taken for granted. And the average age in this group is between 35 and 40, young age. Many countries in Africa, those who are scientists, they retire around 70, means that you have 30 good years to perform. And by the time you're retiring, if you're 40 today, in 30 years, you should look back and you say, yeah, we did our best. We'll have research programs coming up that will help us to continue to work and promote things we need to do. So we target senior and junior researchers and PhD candidates because we believe that we cannot cover everything that we are doing here. We can't cover Africa. We can't do so much. We want to raise an army of people who will go back and then raise other soldiers and recruit them. So if you learn your teaching, go back and take this force you have and shake the place. We have something that is need for change. That is what we need. So don't take it personal. This is not yours. We're not giving it to you. It is both yours and your colleagues and your students and your institutions. Let's shake the place. Check the place. We are burning hot here in ASFI. I want you to burn hot. So we have other courses we have planned. We have our seminar series coming up next year as well. We have one coming up on Sunday. Please join us. You have not registered. You still have opportunity to register and join us. Bring your friends, bring your colleagues, because this news, we shouldn't take it for granted. It's a long time we have been there. It's a long time we have been there. I mean, one day we will sit and tell the story of ASFI. We had 1 year anniversary in July and we had a good time, but our story also needs to be heard. Because they say, how did you start this? Do you know it has taken me more than 10 years to push this forward? And what happens is that many people in Africa will not even accept. But you know, a time comes when a mission, no matter whatever happens, we penetrate. COVID-19 provided an opportunity for many things, and that is why we can meet here. So there is a good side to COVID. Without COVID, my dream, my mission was still in my head. People would not understand what you really want to do. They can't even understand it. You know, people doubt you. People think, well, this kind, maybe you're trying to take opportunity, you know, but it's clear what we want to do. So how can you do to support and help? Spread the word to your colleagues, to your institutions. Does your institution have science capacity needs? Please connect them to ASFI. Okay, connect them. We are getting invitations here and there. Don't let your institution lose. Tell them there's opportunity here to develop, and we're happy to discuss and see how we can support. Join and support ASFI activities, our seminar series. We have our career, My Story. If you want to participate, if you want to tell your own story, if you know someone who can tell, please, we have our need for moderators. Indicate and actively participate in these things. We have our research arm. If you want to take part, we have people who are sending us information. They want to participate in any way. We're happy with that, and we'll continue to engage. Keep in touch with ASFI and your group members you have formed here. Group 4 is an example. They are taking their story away from here in a very loud manner to, you know, continue to collaborate. Please do that. We have had such opportunities in other courses. We have taught this since we started. We are planning the ASFI alumni, those who have attended our courses like you. We form that group that will spread the noise, the vision, and then we have the ambassadors also we are trying to establish now. So 2032 is going to be a year of many happenings within SFI. Support us in the way you can, and let's together make Africa proud. So this is what is coming on Sunday. Please register. The evaluation form again, and the selfie evaluation, please. Is that for that? Now, certificates. Certificates, I have in the room here, I have two important people. I have Mrs. Lizzie. You will get your certificate from her. She will send you email. So I just wanted to introduce her here so that when you get email, you wouldn't be wondering who is there. Is Lizzie still here?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone.
So everyone, what is happening behind the administrative things happening there? It is Lizzie that is organizing these things. So she's our admin. And so please give her a thumbs up there. Give her a thumbs up there, because without her input, it will be difficult. Also have Edward. Edward is the operation director for SFI. Edward, you are there?
I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Edward is there. Edward is there also working with Lizzie, and they are pushing things, on ground. There are people who do groundwork. You don't see them, but if they say no, really, you will not be here. So I just want to let everybody give them a shout out for that. So your certificate will come, and Lizzie and Edward will help to provide that, and Lizzie will send it out for you. So now it's all over for this course, and I just want to, you can make your voice heard now. We give room for this. Yeah, last words before we leave. How did we go for you? Where your expectation be met? So you can show your video. You can show your video. Let's have it a good time now. Raise your hand if you want to speak. I see Luca and then Hamidu and anyone who wants to speak, please. Let's do it and get it going.
Good afternoon, everyone. So
yeah, we're not seeing you, Luca.
Okay.
If you want to share a video, share a video.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Luca. Go ahead.
Okay.
Please don't take too much time.
Okay. Briefly, I would, before my question, I want to say thank you so much for this opportunity, your passion for our Africa, and truly the vision of ASFI. I can see that it's practically demonstrated in the course of this training. I had the opportunity of my university organizing a one-day seminar of which you were the guest speaker. And getting to know your background and this course being organized, I was wondering in my mind, this person from this discipline and myself from the social sciences, can I gain anything from? But truly, this course has demonstrated, and you have shown to me that truly you are a great teacher, because truly I didn't so far anything that, oh, this somebody from the medical sciences and is teaching me and I'm not getting it. Truly, I got it well. So thank you so much for that. I am so fulfilled. So my question that I wanted to ask earlier is that based on my understanding, the project you gave to all the groups, the result must be presented with the statistical, in the statistical manner that is being presented, the graphs and the chart. Understanding, I think all the questions handled must be presented in that manner. So I'm asking, is it all right that possibly maybe some of the projects, some of the issues to be discussed could be presented, not necessarily using statistical tools and things like that, so that some of us that probably were weak in statistics can get to follow maybe better? Just my thought. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is just 1 week program. So, and it's not meant to be a statistical analysis course. So but because I wanted this to be quite practical for everyone to see what is happening in our continent, so I gave you that project. We have promised we will come back to do the data analysis course in the future. But whatever you can get from your project group, just get it and see how you can improve. It's not meant to really give you all that you needed to get with regards to statistics.
Thank
all right.
You so much.
Okay, Hamidu.
Yeah.
Then we'll go to Bira, and then we'll go to.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. It's really a very wonderful time. Do I start with something outside the scope, or do I just because our groupings we're supposed to submit a report?
This is your time.
Okay.
But if you limit it to this course, that would be great.
Okay.
Other things we can discuss over the email also.
Okay, thank you very much. My questions are like this. In this paper that we have written, what of the issue of ethics? That's number one. And then number two, what of the issue of conflict of interest? Because most journals will now talk about these two major areas. And then number three, this work, can it be published? And if it can be published, where do we send it for publication? After your review anyway, because we would like to get it published.
Well, I mean, the data you have there is freely available. So once it's freely available, it's really everyone's constituency. I think what you just need to is to acknowledge the source. Okay, so these are some of the data set that you can use them. And then the information there is not new. So that you have provided this doesn't mean that it's novel, because every country has this in their report. They know this because it is the World Bank. Every country relates to World Bank. But if you really want to emphasize this more, as I've emphasized in this course, you can publish it in an African journal where the message will be taken that we as a continent are not doing well. So if you want to publish it, because one of the things we have gone through this course is to know your audience. Who is your audience? Who will benefit from what you're trying to say? So if you want to publish it, yes, of course, as a way of continuing to emphasize what we already know, but not thinking about it quite in the right way, you can send it to an African journal. Okay. All right, Vera.
Oh, thank you, Professor, and all the organizers of this training. I'm so grateful that I became part of the team. I'm really requesting that your organization should really, I saw in the activities you normally do is research, promoting research. And I would be glad if we could have a collaborative research between universities in Nigeria and Uganda and other parts of Africa, so that we can really bridge this gap that is really, I was so unhappy when I saw that Uganda is really very, very low down in terms of publishing. So if we could really engage in collaborative research, it would really put Africa at least at some level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think what you're saying is where we want to get to, but you know that it said that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step, and the step we want it to start is for you, the group you have formed here, to continue to work on that. In fact, the groups we have formed from last year, they are doing fantastically well. I'm really proud of some of those groups, because there is very huge collaboration between, not at the institutional level, but amongst those who have attended this course. But I think this journey of 1,000 miles, this can actually grow, can grow bigger and bigger, you know, because when you have top-down things, it's always difficult. But if you have down going up, the way we have formed here, it will make a good impact in the future. So please, let the connection you have made continue. Don't let it dry out. And we are happy this week. Everybody's excited. And then after that, it goes. Yeah, it happens because people are very busy, but with that spirit we have, because you can't take away that spirit from me. It's now burning hot, really very, very burning hot, and I want yours to burn quite hot. Okay. Is it Chukwu, Dr. Is it Chukwu Frank Obi? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Wright, for this wonderful opportunity. Once again, I would say that this one, just like the meta-analysis and the systematic review with meta-analysis, because didn't disappoint at all. And like I wrote in my evaluation, it's always more than just teaching. It's a spirit you're spreading, and it's you're raising an army, and I'm so glad that it spreads across many countries of Africa. So I want to give you and your team kudos, and I pray that God will continue to strengthen you and keep you strong and healthy as you do this, and to keep you around to see reap the fruits of what you're sowing. And in addition to what he just mentioned, I also think something like rules around authorship, what really qualifies one to be an author, it may be a good addition to this course, because we know that gift authorship and all these things are common in our continent here. Okay, so it would be good to also add it in addition to publication ethics to enrich future programs. So once again, thank you very much. And I wish you a wonderful holiday and Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that is an important issue you mentioned. Eman, please take a note. We can bring it in our tips and tricks. We can discuss that. But yeah, I think it's something we can bring forward when we are offering this course next time. Yeah. And for your group, I went to group 4, and we had to encourage them. Patricia called me there. So your group, those that were sitting in the back and not doing anything, you know what to do in terms of authorship. You tell them that you don't belong here. So because they have to do a good work to be part of author. You really. So that is where you start now. So you have to knock them out. Those who have not worked now, because you need to belong to really be included as an author. Okay, and I mean we are doing the same thing. Those who were just playing in us, thinking that we'll give certificate like Santa Claus, we're not doing that. Only those who have participated fully, and we know how to catch you. You know, we took record of that. So if you don't get certificate, don't write me. Oh no, you missed me. You can protest. I'm happy to hear that. Then we'll take it forward to the group men and the group leaders who did the work, and we can have conversation. Okay, Aji Suguntu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Bryce. What I have is just word of appreciation to you and then the entire ASFI team, but most specifically to you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this training, and also giving me the opportunity to do the internship with you. Truly, I did not regret anything otherwise, because even when I speak to my colleagues, when I tell them what I'm doing with you, they're always like amazed and wonder how much I am learning from you. So I want to say a big thank you and show you my sincere appreciation for giving me the opportunity. Because for me, before, I thought I could not do this much. I did not have the confidence. I did not have the self-belief that I can do this much. But coming in contact with you, I have seen that there's a lot that was in me that I can show out, but there was nobody to encourage me and force me to do it. So that's why I decided to use this opportunity to say thank you so much.
Great, Aji. Her name, I call her Aji. That is what we know her here. We have a history. So we are both in Sweden, and I got this email some time ago and said, oh, somebody asked me to ask you if I can do internship. So she's working with me, and now we started with driving on the road. Now we are flying together. So she knows what it is, and that is it's amazing. So yes, it's good to see that you have things in you, but somebody to pick it out. So I'm really happy the way you are developing, and that you are part of this mass this week. All right, I have Justo. Is it Justo or you call it Justo Santos? Yusto, it looks like your network is quite bad. Any other person who wants to speak? Otherwise, Eman, are you taking picture already, or? Eman likes to take picture, so please show your faces, show your picture, and then we can end it here. And then I wish you a very lovely week. Please, if you have not completed the evaluation, do it so so that we can work on that.
Smile.
Yeah, say she smile.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
We are
Have a good
waiting.
weekend.
Thank you. Looking forward to meet you on Sunday.
Thank you very much. All of you, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The same to you. The same to you.
I'm
back,
I'm late.
The same to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the experience. Bye.
Merry everything. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Hello.
See you. See you all. See you all.
Bye. Hi, Professor Bright.
Professor Bright.
Hello.
Professor Bright.
I'm still here. I've not gone. I'm still here.
Thank you, sir.
I'm late. I'm back.
Bye.
Thank you.
Prof.
Yes, Adewumi.
Thank you so much, sir.
No problem. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. And Professor Amma too. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ma.
you. Thank you. You are welcome.
I appreciate you.
Thank you,
so much.
Emma. Thank you, Professor Bright. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Professor. Hello, Professor.
Is that Rebecca? Rebecca, you're not going to court
Yes,
anymore,
please.
isn't it?
I've really learned a lot.
That's great.
And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hmm.
This was something I didn't want to miss
Yeah, yeah.
and have learned and have gained, especially for my group. I never let them sleep, frankly speaking, until I understood what I was really expecting. I'm so much happy and I'm short of words. And from here, I'm going to tell the group which sent your advert that I saw it, how wonderful the group has been. I'll post them my certificate and I'll tell them how successful it has been. Thank you so much. I'm short of words. I don't know what to use, but God bless you for giving me the opportunity.
And bless you too,
I'm
Rebecca.
really grateful. God richly bless you and bless your family.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to Rebecca. It's really good to, as a lawyer, it's good to threaten people that you take them to court. If you have not threatened me, take me to court, I wouldn't have taken you in this case, you know.
I can't stop laughing.
Yeah. So, but you know that not everybody is like me that will say, some people would like to go to court with you.
Because it was something I was really expecting to attend. In fact, I couldn't miss it. You see, so when it came to me, it was a blow. So immediately I saw the message, I had to quickly respond. No. This can't happen. I'm so grateful.
It's okay.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
I like the way you are fighting, Rebecca.
Professor Bright. Professor Bright.
Yes. Is that Elizabeth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back. I had
Oh, you're back, eh?
Yes, but in this very last time, I would like to say thank you. Rebecca, I think, has already mentioned this because Rebecca has been wonderful for us, really. So thank you very much, Professor Bright and the team. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca, as well.
Elizabeth.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
Rebecca,
you.
we will continue meeting in our group.
Yeah, do so, and continue the fire.
Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Let me say bye and clock off.
With the certificate,
No problem.
are we receiving it today?
No, not today. Of course, I have to rest before I can write it down. It takes some time.
All right. All right. So I'll quickly notify my group. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, but it will come next week, probably.
All right. God richly bless you.
Bless you too. Bless you too.
Oh, bye.
Bye. Some people don't want to go, eh?
Yeah.
The class is over.
You want to stay? Okay.
The course is over. Some people still want to stay here, eh? Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I like it to be the last one. But since you kick us out,
No. I'm just telling you. That the course is over. So if you think we are continuing, we are not continuing. So you can stay. We are not chasing anybody. Leah.
All right.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate the opportunity and we'll be part of this fire. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Eman, perhaps say, is it possible to copy the message on the chat?
Yes, I copied it.
Okay, great.
Because there's some amazing comments. Yes.
That's good.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, Leah. Take care.
Goodbye.
Yeah, we see you on Monday, eh?
Yeah, on Monday.
Thank you.
Sunday.
Thank you very much.
And Sunday, eh?
Dr. Rehman, thank you very much, all of you. Thank you very much.
No
for
problem.
everyone.
Yeah, Nuha, take care. Take care.
Yes. In Arabic, we say Jazakallah
sorry.
khairan.
Yeah.
Dr. Bright, I'm sorry, but my network is very get down.
Yeah.
It's very oscillated. I'm sorry. And thanks for that. See you.
No problem. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.